Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello, how are you? Sorry I'm a little late. Of course, there was a computer update and all my audio was disabled. So I was like, what's going on? Everything looks good. I just set up 4 machines, 1, 2, 3, 4 machines. I would have thread and bobbins for all of them, all the tensions correct. I felt like I had already jumped through all the fiery circus hoops. Yeah. Hi Sarah, how's it going? I have Molly here with me today, my dog, one of my dogs, because we're getting this window installed, and so my husband was like, will you take her? So, hi Malin, how's it going? Let me know if everything sounds and looks okay, just because there was an update. Walter, hello. I was just thinking about you a few minutes ago, Walter. How's it going? Hi Megan, how's it going? Nice, Sue. Yeah, no worries, no worries. So we're making the Glissando pants today, and it's going to be kind of an epic machine hopping journey. And I'm going to do a few things today I've never done before. Well, maybe just one. Actually, I don't really need this on my machine. And that is, I'm going to use my cover stitch as my top stitching. And I've double threaded it, meaning I put 2 threads through each of the upper needles. So we'll see how this goes. It's testing okay, but we'll see. I just want the top stitching to show up. So, hey Delwyn, hey Barbara, Sydney, cool beans, Maynard. I love that expression, cool beans. That seems so old school, and I like it. All right, so I have my home machine here for buttonholes. Good news that I couldn't do them off camera because this is an exposed fly. So I can, let's see, I have to assemble it to the pant first before doing the buttonholes. So I didn't want to go that far ahead of you. Yeah, right, Sarah? You know, the thing is, I should have made this a 2-week sew, just so that I don't have so many projects. Like, I don't mind sewing it this fast at all. It's more of the whole thing of like, okay, I had to come up with a whole project for this. You know, I have to come up with a project every month and all the stuff for it. And it would have been good to stretch it over 2 weeks rather than just cramming it all into one. So I didn't get anything else done yesterday in the afternoon because I was working on these pockets and certain things for it. So yeah, it'll be interesting, Sue. I think it'll be, I think it'll look good. I can show you how it looks so far, because I've stitched on it, but it looks really nice. So I have 2 threads in each of these needles. It's not a 4, it looks like those 2 rows are so parallel, it looks like I have a 4 needle cover stitch, but I don't. And I tried it with the cream thread on the back, And I just thought, you know what, it just doesn't look good enough to do that. So I just put the brown on the bottom as well. And it's only a single thread. But I ended up, the cream before, this cream right here was a little bit lighter weight because it's what I grabbed. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, you know, the lighter weight bobbin thread, or bobbin, it's not a bobbin on a cover stitch, but the lower thread should be able to compete with the upper threads. And because there's 4 upper threads for 2 needles, it makes sense to make this at least a heavier weight as far as like what I use. I use text 40 and this was a text 27. So that was good. And so it feels better. The profile of it looks better because this is a little heavier weight. The upper threads are each text 27 too. So you need to do a 2-week sew. Right? You think so, Sarah? It's interesting. I was having a lot of tension issues so that with my bobbin thread, I still have some paper here. So yeah, here's my back pockets. I also have, because I want to use my cover stitch machine and, well, and just coming up with enough cones of thread, I'm gonna have 2 colors going on in my pants. So these are my back pockets right now. And we went with a grumpy owl because of the pocket lining. I don't know, you guys, like these looks very Halloween-esque compared to the pocket lining, which is this right here. This is very aquatic. Why didn't we think about that? Someone suggested aquatic animal. I'm not saying that you guys didn't float it past me. No pun intended. Well, maybe pun intended. I mean, come on. Unintentional pun. But now I'm feeling like the underwater with the owl and moon are kind of a weird combo, but whatever. No one can see this on the inside except me, right? So, hey, Terry, how's it going? Hello, Sand Dollar. Welcome. You said fit. Exactly. Eliza's like, yeah. That's awesome, Eliza. You kicked the kids out of class. Eliza's totally one-upping all of you watching while you're working. She's like, I'm working and I'm just kicking everybody out while I do this. So, yeah, you were right, Eliza. Maybe a grumpy fish would have been a good call. All right, so this is where we're at. These look okay. I hand tie, so the way I get my back stitches not to show, so this is obviously also not a continuous line drawing, which is what I was talking up. And I tried a few and the owl was struggling. It was just struggling. It just wasn't really that great. Only the moon makes it Halloween-y. Yeah, with the cat flying on the broom. I had to do that. I'm such a big fan of Kiki's Delivery Service, that movie, so good. So when you don't want your back stitches to show, if you leave long tails of your upper thread and your bobbin thread, and your upper thread's still hanging out here, and your bobbin thread's here, if you tug on your bobbin thread, it pulls the top thread to the back, a little loop, and then, you know, I use my little awl here, and I just pull the loop, and then I hand tie it. And then that way, there's no back stitch showing. Because look at the tree, so there's no back stitch, it just kind of disappears. It's kind of clean. These little spots here were the hardest. These little individual feathers, they were absolutely the hardest to do because one stitch, I couldn't even do it. You can see because these are heavier and this is lighter weight. It's really obvious on camera too. It's not as obvious in person, but this one here could use a couple extra stitches. And that's because when I pulled the thread to the back, it would just pull the whole thing out. So, oh, you totally should, Sydney. It's such a cute movie. I love that movie. It's funny, it's sweet. You know. All right, let me get my seat here. Let me see if I can show you Molly. There she is. Yeah, we couldn't have Loki here. There's no way. Yeah, it was a lot of loose threads, Libby. It was kind of a hot mess. To be perfectly transparent, this is definitely one of my most hot mess top stitching of a back pocket. And in fact, yeah, I even considered like covering it with a piece of fabric to kind of secure the threads a little better, you know. Aw, well, maybe you don't start with that, Sydney, because the idea of it might be scary, but it's not a scary. It's not a scary movie. It's Kiki's Delivery Service. It's about a little girl. She's a witch. And when you're a witch and you come of age, your main task is that you need to find a town that doesn't have a witch and do a good deed for that town. And so she goes with her trusty cat, Gigi, who's hilarious. And that's, you know, that's Gigi there on the broom. So anyway, and her name's Kiki. And you can obviously, by the title, tell what she picks as her good deed. So, all right, let's get cracking here. So the first step with these is to sew the pockets onto the pants. Oh, this is what we're making here. We're making these Glissando cropped style pants. Comes with shorts and a skirt view as well. I think, what would I point out as different from jeans for these? There's no back yoke. You can see there's darts instead. They are a very loose, relaxed fit through the hip and lower, so that the whole like stovepipe leg. They're very like close fitting at the waist, and they're high-waisted for sure. What else? The front pockets are optional, and the button fly is exposed, so you see the buttons peeking through. Oh yeah, she'll be fine, Sydney. I'm just saying, like, you and I both know it's not scary, but you know, like sometimes it's just best not to like push if they have an idea that it's scary, then they already have that kind of like wall going in, you know, so. Yeah, I have a Bernina home machine. This is my home machine. So I also got some mail from one of you guys. So I thought I'd open it. This is from Christy. So she and I talk about underwear elastic a lot when we talk via like YouTube comments and Instagram DMs and Instagram comments. She and I talk a lot about. And she said she was going to send me some underwear elastic she liked. She tried out mine. She didn't really like it. I'm just making sure there's nothing else in here. I don't know what's in here. Okay, look at this. Okay, so she really loves Stitch Love Studio. Look how nice this comes. She really loves how firm the Pico edge elastic is. It really does feel nice. Oh, look at this. What a nice gift. Oh my goodness. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, look at that. So there's leg elastic, 2 narrow elastics in purple and black, and then a waist elastic. That is it's very stout. So one other of you loves buying elastic from these folks. Who is that? Which one of you is that? It's like I can almost see your name. So that's pretty cool. I haven't tried their stuff yet, so let's see what she says. Hopefully she's okay with me opening this on camera. I don't know. Oh, she made a card. Thank you for all you do for the sewing community. Black is a 3/8 inch for leg bands, 3/4 inch for waist if you want. Purple 3/8 for legs. She is discontinuing 3/4 inch. I, however, really like it. Good to know. Look how this little card she made. This is cute. All right. Let's put this here. So now I'm really excited to make a pair of underwear. We'll put that in there. Well, actually, no, we'll put that over here. Ah, you like their bra strap elastic? Do you make a lot of bras? Hi, Hannah. How's it going? That Avatar series is really good, Sydney. We watched those when they first came out. We loved them. Okay, so I added a pocket facing because I wanted to reduce the bulk of the inside of my pants. If you want to see how I did that, it's in the cutting video. And then I'm using 2 different fabrics so that my print doesn't show through my white pants. Right? So let's see. We're going to put these front pockets on. Let me think about how much I could do maybe here at the machine first before we go to the serger. That way we can maximize our time at the serger. I think I can start just sewing these on. All right. So we're going to first start with my industrial. It's going to be a little awkward with my home machine there for a little bit. This makes this really easy for me to keep track which one's which. Remember? Because you know I'm always like, wait, which one shows to the inside? All right, so 1/2 inch seams. Put our pockets on. If you aren't doing the pockets, you don't have to do this part. I haven't sewn on my machine yet today, so hopefully it's all good. Doesn't feel good, so, oh, I know why. I know why, because I monkeyed around with the tension like big time to do the top stitching. Can you see okay? The light, the Bernina is making a shadow over here. Really, Terry? Ooh. Yeah, that lagging coat is, did you pick it up then? I need to adjust my tension. I'm just going to do it as I go. It's not too loose, that's for sure. Let's see here. That looks pretty good, actually. Somehow she'd say the movies are scarier than TV shows. Yeah, right. Exactly, Sydney. So you know what I mean by like, yeah, it's like sometimes you got to pave the way a little sneakily. It's funny because my daughter also didn't like scary things, but she could watch any of the Japanimation or the anime movies by Hayao Miyazaki. So like, you know, Totoro and Kiki, Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind, Howl's Moving Castle, and even Spirited Away. So Spirited Away, I would argue, would be the one that you would kind of be surprised that a kid could watch. But what I think is really great about those movies is that nothing you think is scary is scary. It's not. And I think that's what I love about his movies is that they kind of turn that on their head, you know? In fact, in that one, well, I don't want to spoil anything. I was going to say who the bad guy is. You're like, what? That's the bad guy? You know, so, you know, because there's always, but then, you know, they always come around. I mean, they're always such great, interesting messages. I'm trimming my seam allowance because I don't like all that bulk in there. I'll get my foot off the presser foot. Or God, I've been sewing since I was a teenager, and I still call the foot pedal the presser foot regularly. Like, I'm never going to break that habit. Yeah, Ponyo. Yeah, I know. That's the thing is, like, there's certain creepy images in those. Ponyo's pretty cute. That came out when Cricket was kind of older, but we watched that one. And there was another one that came out after that. The little people in the houses. It's like a remake of a children's book. Yeah. All right, this could be pressed and then top stitched. But we get to use the cover stitch, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, right, Walter? It does. It's so good. I agree. Let's do one thing at a time here. So let's overlock the pocket facings, which I've already lost. Are they sitting right here in front of me? And then we'll also top stitch our pocket opening with the cover stitch machine. So I'll show you how that's going to go. All right, so I need to turn this a little bit here. And I move my iron right here. A little dark, huh? This is my sample. Spirited Away is the one with the little girl who gets separated at her parents right at the beginning. And she ends up having to work at a bathhouse. And she's like, cleans the tubs that the spirits come and take a bath in. It's pretty cool. And the little girl is named Chihiro, and the little boy who helps her out is named Haku. And we named our cats Haku and Chihiro. We still have Haku. He's nothing like that little boy. He looks like him. He's white, and he had this gray mullet when we first got him. And he's grown out of the mullet, and now he just has gray eyebrows. So I'm just pressing this pocket lining to the inside here. This fabric is kind of thin, so it's fighting me a little bit. That's why I'm fiddling. I want to push this just so I can see a little bit of the jeans back here. See right there? See how I can see just a little bit? That way I know for sure my lining won't sneak and show on the right side. Oh yeah, Princess Mononoke is really good. I really like Howl's Moving Castle as well. And although that one's a little bizarre. I mean, they're all a little bizarre. They're all a little bizarre. The Cat Returns is pretty good too. All right, so let's top stitch these. Oh, I haven't, Sydney. I've heard of Samurai Jack. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to overlock this edge of the bottom of this pocket facing here. You could also clean finish it onto the pocket rather than doing this. Yeah, I have this machine on a vibration pad, but you know what I'm thinking? What happens is it travels. This is my plan. Well, maybe I shouldn't upset the apple cart right now. Of course I'm going to upset the apple cart. I'm going to flip it over and just try it this way. Wait. Oh, it's very slippery on there. Because, oh yeah, that's much tackier. It's slippery here because this is like a sticky back I can peel off. We'll see. All right, we have those ready. Put those over there. All right, so like I said, on my cover stitch here, I have 2 threads going through each needle. And I'm not sure I can show you how I threaded it, but I don't have enough of the cradles to hold the thread. So I have 1 cone sitting over here. That was a little bit the trickiest part because I need 1 to go to my lower thread, and it pretty much needed to be right here. But these other 4, I have these 2 are this one, and this back right corner are going to here, and then I have these 2 going here. Yeah, that's how it is. I have both of these going through this one thread carrier right here. Okay, see, can you see that? Yeah, I know you can't see that. There we go. So I have 1 right here. I could essentially have these going through here, these 2, but I don't. I don't think I needed to because that probably would have created some drag. So let's move that back over there. You really don't want any drag on your thread, especially when you're doing something a little bit risky like this. Look at all that thread coming out of there. Your list of today's notes is very long. I agree. The login coat does look like a coat made for Terry to sew. Robert Coffin flannel called Sea Wool that is made of... Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've been experimenting with a lot of aquatic things for fibers. There's another one made from lichen or kelp. All right, I'm trying to decide. I have the needles set at the furthest distance, so they're about 1/4 of an inch apart. I'm just trying to decide how close I want it to the edge there. Let's do this though. So this will work great on curves and straight stitches. Oof, the stitch length is kind of long, so it's going so fast for me. Like, I can't do this on my back pocket. The back pocket is squared off. You could round the corners of the pocket though, and then you'd be fine. But look at that, 2 perfectly parallel lines. They still look a little wiggly, huh? Not bad though. We're all in on this top stitching. Terry finally is like, yep, I'm in love with that coat. She's had that done since January. It must have been so hard to sit on it that long. But so smart. Kind of like a freebie in the fall for her. Oh, this is a little further away from the edge. I'm going to focus on this little thing being on my... No, that's too close. This one might be a hot mess. Let's see. It's a little fast though. I could probably shorten the stitch length to make it a little slower. That's not too bad. Okay, here's the saving grace when you're doing top stitching like this. Oh, but look at that. The last few stitches came undone here. Let's see if I can fix this. That's too far away from my side seam. I'll tell you my saving grace in a minute. If you get this little wiggly, don't rush to tear it out yet. Okay, wait to hear what I'm going to say. Okay, it's a little better. All right. All right, so if you get your top stitching a little wiggly on the pocket, because in a way, it's like your first thing you're top stitching on your garment. And so maybe, you know, you're still getting the hang of it, you know, like, oh, this thread acts differently, or I'm using a bigger needle, or my machine is still set up from top stitching an owl, you know what I mean? The thing to remember is that this opening is going to be sitting against the same fabric. So because of that, seeing how parallel it is to the edge or not is going to be far less noticeable, because it's going to just be cream back there, especially from far away. And then the other thing to remember is this is pretty far away right here. But remember, I have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So really it's just this little short section. And if you want one more thing to cover that up, you could put a rivet there. You know, there's things you can do if you really don't want to take out, or like me, sometimes I get really low on the top stitching thread and I'm like, gosh, I really don't have enough to redo that, you know? So, all right. Now we're going to put this on our corner. I put the right side of the pocket lining to the inside of the pants. That's a little unconventional. I just like the way it looks that way. Then I get to see it when I'm wearing them. It looks nicer in a photo. So, you know, that's why I do it that way. Your hand doesn't get to enjoy the angry fish, right? So. Hey, Nicole, how's it going? Oh, did you guys see, if anybody is on the fence or has just been kind of like, oof, the whole blazer, cost of the blazer, the materials might be too much. Did you guys see Cashmere's having a up to 40% off sale on all that stuff right now? Their kits, their fabrics, their remnants, all of it. Alright, so we're just going to top stitch this on inside the overlocking. Yeah, I made an error in the cutting yesterday, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I cut double of the right and left waistbands for the interfacing when you only needed one. I decided that I wanted to interface both sides of my waistband. I like a nice stiff waistband, so that's what you'll see that my waistband is interfaced on the left and all the waistband pieces. So I had to cut an extra piece for the back since I only cut one for the back, and then I interfaced that one. So, all right, so now we have our pockets here. So this is how this looks, and let's look at the spot I had to re-sew. Right here. Let's make this look a little nicer. Maybe we can even, I'm kind of scared. Oh yeah, I'm losing some more of it. So maybe I could just, I'll fix this with the single needle. Meaning a straight stitch. I'll just fix it with my regular machine. Let's trim this off though. Well, this one's really solid. It's just this one here. What is this right here though? I feel like maybe it would be mostly prudent to just stitch both. Let's see. This looks pretty seamless right here. It's just this little spot. So let's fix that real quick. Nice. That's pretty exciting, Terry. I look forward to seeing that. That coat's really beautiful. We're talking about the Login coat by Itch to Stitch Designs that came out last week, right? It was just on sale too. All right, so we'll just repair these stitches right here. I'm gonna make my stitch length a little longer. I'm gonna back stitch over this just to make sure. I don't like that bump right there. You know me. I think I might have to let it go. All right. Hoping by having the cover stitch set up as my top stitching, it's going to cut down on the back and forth of all the top stitching. We'll see. I wore my Paddington top today so that I could immediately try them on with these pants because I think it's going to look really good with these pants since they're high-waisted. I've been wearing the Paddington with my shorts because it's just not really anything but shorts weather here. And these shorts just are a little too low for the Paddington. All right, so let's see. We got this one here. And we're going to sew these so that it's a French seam. I really like a French seam bottom of my pockets. Just looks nicer. Hi Heidi, how's it going? Yeah, you like this top, don't you, Nicole? I do too, actually. I really like it. I like the color, I like the fabric. I didn't even iron it. The fabric is that great. And I love the style and the silhouette. You know, I'm not a big fan of puff sleeves, but these aren't puff sleeves, these are gathered sleeves at the bottom. All right, so we have our bottom edge there. I did it wrong sides together, which is a little confusing considering my wrong side is considered the right side of this fabric because I want this to be the inside of my pocket, right? That's so weird. I was a little confused there for a second. So we need to iron this. And then we'll top stitch it to our other one. Then we'll do our fly. That's up next. I love it, Nicole. Is Sydney your pattern spirit guide? Okay. We'll just notch a little bit here or clip. All right, so let's iron these. See this, that's why there needs to be a, I mean, I guess Minerva would be that, because you can end up following people on there that are your size or taste and then kind of get ideas from them. Yeah, it's kind of like the Ravelry that I miss for sewing. Oh, I love that idea, Libby. So how much did you lengthen your sleeves? Okay, so it's a little harder to, you know, open it up and iron first because this curve is pretty severe. Oh gosh, I have my cord for my iron over here because I'm standing where Molly loves to sleep and I didn't want her to pull the iron down on top of her, so there we go. So we have that and we're going to stitch that down. I'm trying not to be inspired by all the Reynolds tops that she keeps posting because I'm like, Helen, it's almost winter. I don't want to make something I can only wear once, you know? Oh, Molly's jumping in the chair. That's good. That's a good spot for her. I think she loves coming here with me. All right, let's see how it's shaping up. That's bugging me though. That stitch right there is really bugging me. And my 1/2 inch seam will be here. I wasn't planning on putting rivets, but gosh, maybe I will. But this is how it'll look on the inside, which is very cute. Five inches. Very interesting. Hi, Nancy. How's it going? Nello. Yeah, did you see Molly back there? He's here. Molly. All right. Let's stitch the bottom of these pockets here, and then we're going to get to our fly. I'm just sewing and enclosing my raw edge here. God, this is so long. No need to back stitch. Although someone just challenged me on that recently. But you don't need a back stitch there. And I like to line all these edges up here. Make sure everything's looking good. This really bugs me here. It really bugs me. I thought I had more overlap. I gave myself an inch, but that's fine as long as you can't see my inside of my pocket. I have far more. Did I flip these? I wonder if I flipped it. I couldn't have. It wouldn't have lined up. Maybe I just need to line this up better. It's probably this curve. It's probably a little stretched out. That's what it is. All right, so I'm just going to stitch the pocket into the side seam. And then that way we can just treat it as one. And same with this up here. There we go. That looks pretty cute. Except what's going on there? What the heck's that? Let's check that out. What is going on here? That didn't line up very well at all, did it? Let's check it out. Here it is. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. Ghastly, yeah. I just used it for the pocket lining, you know, because let's line it up from this side. Get this to relax a little bit more. It's like I didn't use the right seam allowance down here, but I used 1/2 inch. See, look at that little pucker there. That's better. Let's do it. Now let's do it. And I want this better too. I'm kind of excited about using the cover stitch as the top stitch. It's kind of nice, right? I could fudge this right here, but I'm not going to. It's going to be a long day anyway. Right? Because we are kind to our future selves. Alright, that looks pretty cute. No one will know. Nice and flat. Let's do our other one. Guys are talking so much I'm having trouble keeping up, but that's okay. Did I stitch this yet? Nope. I always forget to do the second one, right? Like, I get so excited. I finish that pocket and then I go to this one and I forget to stitch this bottom of the pocket so many times. I'm sure you guys have been here long enough. You've seen me do that. The other quirky thing I do is I get really excited for the hard bits of the sewing, hard bits, you know. And so I will sometimes sew them first, and then I get myself really into a pickle because, like, famously on pants like this, I'll sew the whole fly, and it has this pocket going all the way to the fly, and I'm like, well, whoops, I've already finished the fly, and now I can't fit my pocket into there. I don't do that anymore because I did it wrong so many times that I finally broke myself of that bad habit. These pants are really, really voluminous. I'm just gonna fold them up like this. All right, let's get this nice and flat. I'm gonna stitch it through that top stitching there. This twill is pretty lightweight, and I feel like it's a little bit getting relaxed. I'm kind of glad I interfaced this pocket facing here, because I told you some of my pet peeves with pockets is that this slouches like this when I'm wearing it. It's probably me, you know, like fitting how it's fitting me, but all right, very cute, very cute. All the angry critters. All right, so we're gonna sew across our fly extension first. We're gonna sew across the bottom down here, right sides together, just fold that in half. I'm gonna sew that. Now I would backstitch. I'll trim that. And we're going to iron this, and we're going to overlock this raw edge. And we're also going to overlock this one. I'm really glad I read through the instructions to see how Love Notions likes to put this together, because one thing that I probably would have missed is that you need to trim 1/4 of an inch off this rounded edge here while you overlock it. I don't know why the pattern piece isn't just correct to begin with without trimming, but maybe I think some folks have strong feelings about trimming always when you use your serger, and so maybe that is part of it, or maybe it's just like we've added 1/2 inch seam allowance everywhere, you know, so. All right, I'm just catching up with you guys. All right, let's do this. And I'm going to also overlock my fly first. Let's bring you over here. My sophisticated camera setup. All right, so like I said, you want to trim 1/4 of an inch off this curved edge here. When you're doing these little curves on your serger, they can be a little tricky. Pre-trimming it might even be easier, because it's kind of hard to do these little tight curves. I'm really pushing my fingers down right here and pivoting like this. All right, I'm just gonna say it. I really don't like how hard this thing is to get on here. It's so hard. It's always popping off, and then things slip behind it. I can't put it on first with the door open either. I mean, I can try. Hi. I'm going to do this long edge here since I'm about to do the fly. You don't have to do this. I just feel like this is already getting a little thready. Oof, that is vibrating a lot, isn't it? This vibration pad doesn't do anything. Let's just be honest. Maybe if I hold it, let's see. Yeah, right, Esther? Yeah, it's the machine, not the camera. All right, so we have these finished here, and I'm gonna do my fly right now. You don't have to do the fly. It's not part of this for a while. I just find this to be a lot easier to pre-do it. Yeah, and I spent, I think, $50 on these vibration pads. Yeah, this thing is already coming off. There must be a trick to it. Okay. I think we got everything. Serge, question. I was having an awful time finishing a raw edge of lightweight fabric the other day. It was on the curve and the looper threads would both end up totally off fabric. Yeah. So, I feel like some fabrics just don't end up being very compatible with your machine. There's probably a way to fix it. It probably wants more thickness in the fabric. I loved my old Baby Lock Evolve. I'm pointing at it because it's in the hallway. I loved my Baby Lock Evolve because it was very, very easy to adjust that. It was just a little lever. You had like 5 options. It was really great, and it would tighten it right up. The width is one thing, you know, definitely don't just monkey around with your tension. Check your width and your length and fiddle with those. You might have some luck. But yeah, it probably wants more substance to Serge. Yeah, Sarah, that works for the machine not traveling, but the vibration is yeah. So for this camera, I feel like this is a lot better. Do you guys feel like this one's better here, this overhead camera? I put the cameras on vibration pads. I used to use the drawer fabric too. It does get dusty with thread after a while. Yeah. Yeah, right, Barbara? Exactly. Did I say hi to you earlier? All right, let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew our extension, which is the one we folded right sides together. And we're going to put this on the right front. Always, 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 when you're talking about right front or left front, it's always as if you're wearing the garment. Okay. All right, we're just going to put this right sides together along this front. You can see I have this little curve here, and it's because I'm using the full belly version of the pants. Yeah, try the width thing, Sydney. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to put this little serger thread tail in between my seam allowances here. I'm just going to tuck it in there and stitch it. I feel so clever doing that. It looks so good though. You don't even see it at all. It just disappeared. All right, so now, you know, they say to press the seam allowance towards the extension. That is really weird to do that, in my opinion. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to top stitch. So I know why they do that, and it's probably because your front, your left front is supposed to just meet this edge here, you know. But this is a lot of thickness, so I have 2 extensions, 1 front, and then pocket. So there's 5 layers of fabric there, plus interfacing on 2 of those layers. That's kind of a lot to press towards the extension, and it doesn't look very good either. So you can learn from me. I'm going to do matching thread, that way it won't show up. We'll see how mine works, and then you can see if you think about doing the same thing. I'm always willing to sacrifice my garment for an experiment. Before you do the top stitch, you're supposed to clip this seam allowance. Just clip it right up to the seam line of the crotch curve here, just like this. And so now see how your crotch curve is hanging free, just like that, all right? And we're gonna do something similar on the other front. Oh no, your car keys. What serger do I have? The Juki MO1000. And I am actually really happy with it. I really liked my Baby Lock Evolve. I had it for a long time. It still works really well, actually. My issue is that I wanted to not have to switch between machines in order to use the serger and the cover stitch, because I'm live on camera for part of it, and yeah, I've had it for a long time, so I was ready for something new. But yeah, it was still working good. And then I got a separate cover stitch as well at the same time. So you don't have to, this is gonna be quick. You can always come back to it, Ray. All right, so now we're gonna take the fly and we're gonna put this right sides together. And we're gonna sew down the center front. We're gonna do the exact same thing, actually. I didn't fix the Streamlabs thing, sorry. I did shorten this, but it does seem really extra long, doesn't it? Like it's veering away from the, let's see. There's one step of this process that I'm a little bit dubious about, but I'm wanting to just trust it and see it through. But right now I'm thinking like maybe I could prevent the dubious part of it by shortening this maybe. This is a really long fly. For reference, when you're wondering how big your opening needs to be to get your clothes on and off, no matter what garment you're sewing, it's 7 inches below the hip is the formula. So usually you want, if this was sitting at the hip, the waistline was sitting at the hip, you would want a 7-inch opening. Or I'm sorry, it's 7 inches below the waist. 7 inches or 7 to 9 inches below the waist. So you need to be able to get it to that fullest part of your body. So that's really what you're looking for. So 7 inches below the hip would be down here. So I'm wondering if I do this, and then we're like this, and then we're like this, and we pull up over to there. Yeah, this is a very simple way to sew this together, but I'm a little concerned about how it's going to look right here. But we'll just trust the process. I am going to shorten my fly here a little bit. I don't really want that going down there. I did shorten it. You guys saw me shorten it, right? Yeah. I mean, that's like really far down there. I'm going to take 1 inch off of it. Another inch. Okay. All right, now we're going to put it right sides together. 1/2 inch seam. I'm regretting taking off that 1/4 inch right now. I feel like I should have. And now we're going to, how did they say? So now if you had your rise seam on right now, all right, I'm not going to rethink this, sorry. Yeah, you're going to understitch this seam allowance towards the fly. So you're pressing all the seam allowances towards this little fly here. Pull it taut. And then this is going to fold to the inside. Oh, make sure you clip this seam allowance. I'm clipping a thread right now. Clip this seam allowance right here of the crotch up to the seam line. This little tail of, look at this little weird little thread tail I have here. Let's secure that first. I should have secured it before I sewed it. I'm just going to sew it into the seam allowance here, so just ignore me. It's like a little bit loose tail when I started the curve. My machine, since I started immediately curving while serging, my machine was like, so it was a little loose right there. Okay. So now clip your seam allowance of your crotch here, the rise, up to the seam line. Don't go past. Definitely go just before it, you know, just so that it can hang loose like that. when you press your fly to the inside. All right, and now we're going to top stitch our fly down. This is going to be a problem. I can tell that my machine won't do buttonholes through all that. Yeah, right, Nancy. That's your knees. No, there's a waistband that goes over it, Megan. We're okay there. This is definitely going to be a problem. Maybe not for you guys, but my home machine doing buttonholes across this thickness here, that's a big yikes for me. I kind of wish I had that 1/4 inch there, but I know you don't really want this thing too wide. What's my solution? Maybe you're supposed to trim that. I don't see any trimming. Yeah, there's no trimming. Right, right, Nancy. There are standalone buttonhole machines. I probably shouldn't tell you that. I'm gonna trim this down, but it's really gonna put it to there. That might be enough. And then if I stitch here, see the problem also with this narrow of a fly is that depending on your button size, you may not have enough length for the buttonhole. So, sorry, it's not the most quick, straightforward tutorial. I'm just going to trim down my seam allowance right here, and let's just, you know, hope for the best. Oof, be really careful. Why is that thick right there? Oh, it's the pocket, okay. All right, so I've trimmed that seam allowance down. It's gonna get encased, so we're not worried about it unraveling. That's way better. I highly recommend you do that. All right, so now I'm gonna top stitch this fly here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch it down at the top waist to kind of help it stay nice and flat. If you want, you can get the guide back out right here, you know, and use it. It's so narrow though. I mean, look at that. That buttonhole is definitely not big enough for my buttons, and I'm using standard tack buttons. So I'm gonna use my cover stitch machine. Oi, I'm regretting that now. Why don't I get a buttonhole machine? Why don't you get a buttonhole machine? I don't get a buttonhole machine because I don't want one machine that does just one thing. Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting Molly's here. It's so cute. Okay, I'm gonna mark. I am gonna regret using this Chaco liner probably because it doesn't wash out very well. The yellow doesn't. All the others are fine, I think. But I am going to cover it up with brown thread, right? So, all right, wish me luck. I'm a little nervous about this. Oh my goodness. All right, we're fine. Except there's a little torquing. All right. One thing I think was good. Oh, look at that bobble right there. Is that gonna bug? Here, we'll just distort it a little bit. Is that gonna bug me? Yeah, this is gonna bug me. Let's take this out. Let's see, is it this one? Oh, look at that. Hubba hubba. Well, of course, right there. Which one is it? Give it to me. Which one are you? Oh, I got off now. Is it this one? I haven't taken the time to figure out which one is my chain stitch to just pull on, but there is one. Usually I can get it from this end really easily. I haven't had to take out any cover stitch really yet though. Oh, I did buy the straight stitch buttonhole attachment, Nancy. I thought you were just talking about a machine that did it. I haven't set it up. You know, that's such a bummer too, because today would have been a good chance to use it, huh? I forgot. They aren't holding my hand, that's for sure. The style arc, is that what you're talking about? I've heard that. I would like to sew their patterns because Christy was saying the same thing. She was like, their instructions are kind of notoriously bad. I was like, oh, well, that's awful. I want to help people. Dang, that was so satisfying until it just stopped, wasn't it? The other reason I wanted to do this was see how I didn't quite get this bottom curve here? Really, Sydney? Oh, that's interesting. They're like, yeah, we don't care. I will, Nancy. You guys are interested? You want to see me set it up? I was thinking that it might be kind of, you know, boring to watch me try and troubleshoot it. But, yeah, I'll do that. I really want to, too, and it's just been a time thing. So if I can do it on stream and you guys are interested, like, that's not so boring, I'll do it. It's sitting right on the floor behind me. Next to the little tiny machine I bought that I've never gotten out of the box. Okay. Oh, really, Beverly? Do you have a pattern that you would recommend or request? They were just having a sale. Oh my God, I really messed this all up, didn't I? It doesn't help that it's 5 threads because I'm using 2 threads in my uppers for this cover stitch. So see, it's a lot of thread taking it out. The Logan Shacket. I hate that word. That's the style arc. Yeah, so the buttonhole attachment Nancy's bringing up is for my industrial machine here. My industrial machine doesn't have a zigzag on it. So this is an attachment that does the zigzag for you. It moves your fabric back and forth so that you can do a buttonhole on it. And I know Terry and Adina both use one. And I just nicked my fabric. I was really curious because if it's pretty easy to set up, I would be more inclined to use it rather than using my home machine, which is the only thing I use that for now. Is buttonholes. And my home machine's, this is your moment of zen. You are not alone when it comes to having your ripping out session go badly. I'm trying everything in my power not to nick the serging stitch back here. those first few inches were like a split second, and then the rest of it, 5 minutes. All right, let's see here. Let's get rid of all this. Oh, that's right, Malin. I've heard that. So you can't grade between sizes. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And then Nancy loves it. That's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Let's do that again. Let's run it back. Yeah, it's great. Tricky to grade between. I would love to come down and go around, but can't. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's give myself a clear target here. We really want to go like this. What I was going to say earlier, though, is cover stitching this is honestly giving me a little bit more width in a way, because normally I would be top stitching along this, right? With the double needle cover stitch, what I can do is cover up this edge right here, straddle my needles there, and at least one needle is off, and it gives me, I can have the double needle without losing width of my extension here, my fly. Not the extension, but the fly. Let's get rid of these threads here. All right, let's go again. And I don't want any torquing, so let's kind of set this up a little bit better. I want to stitch a few stitches off. You could even hand do this the whole way if you wanted. Because remember, the curve thing, it's not really set up to do a curve, because the inside perimeter of this curve is a shorter length than the outside edge where the outside needle is. So I'm really having to kind of make it do this curve. All right. Am I still on the placket? Yeah, I am barely on this placket right now. Okay. That looks better. Oh, it doesn't look better at all. Oh my God. I think it's time to use the regular machine. I don't think I can use that. Oh man. Can I? Come on. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Nice, Eliza. Exactly. This is why you can't use your cover stitch on a curve or a pocket. It is suggested to use your cover stitch for this stuff. Maybe yours has if you use the narrower needles, maybe that you would get a tighter turn on that curve, but I don't know. I think that you are setting yourself up for a potentially having some frustration on a very, focal point part of your garment. I kind of want to look at my ruler now. Doesn't help that I have this little belly curve either. Okay, so if I follow the yellow brick road here, we're going to be good. Yeah, I don't think you should use your cover stitch also because that is the finished edge of your pants. One row is enough. Yeah, I think so, Nicole. I mean, I've never used it for this, and I don't know if you missed, but I have 2 threads in each needle. It was my way of trying an experiment. And also I'm thinking like it would be a nice way to get, you know, perfectly parallel stitching, which is great. Obviously, like this curve was a little easier to do than this little one right here. The drawbacks of the curves, you can't do a corner. You couldn't do that because you don't have an interior needle that's walking or staying put. But yeah, I think that there's some advantages and disadvantages. It's a lot of cones of thread also to have set up, so. All right. So now we're at the point where we're going to do our buttonholes, and then we sew it on here. Just like that. I'm just looking at it because, like I was saying, I'm just curious like how you get a nice, you'd have to come in. Do you guys know what I mean? I don't know, maybe it's kind of subtle, but you have to come in here. All right, well, we'll worry about that in a minute. Let's do our buttonholes. We're going to turn off that machine because I'm most likely going to press on that foot instead. Let's see if I can give you somewhat of a camera angle. I don't know. How's that, you guys? It's pretty terrible, huh? If I do that, that's a little better. There we go. All right. So here's my fly here. Which one am I? The age-old question. Which one am I? Look at these. They move around. Okay. I think this will be a good opportunity to use this. So remember, you have a 1/2 inch seam allowance right here. So I'm going to assume that this upper buttonhole would have been the 18 because it wouldn't have been the 14. That's right on the seam line. So we're going to assume our top one is us. That is still pretty close to your seam there. So then I'm just going to use this as the way to do it. Yeah, definitely Sand Dollar. Hi, Cynthia. I'm sorry I didn't even mention that. Yeah, I talk about that a lot in past videos. Absolutely, you can use those. Those work really, really good. And you can get them in different widths, and you can get them also targeted for denim. They'll say like denim top stitching. They're really great. I just don't use my home machine barely. My cameras obviously struggle with it. I can't use it on my industrial. They don't make them for that. And also the hole in the throat plate it's a tiny hole. So. Oh, wow. Didn't I get a marking pencil, you guys? Besides that? Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll use this. What do you think? Is this too risky, Nancy? Is that too low down there? No, we'll just do this. All right. I'm just going to make a little mark here, like this. You definitely want your buttonholes perpendicular to your button fly opening. You don't do that on a shirt placket though. You want your shirt to stay lined up. This just gives you room to breathe and move around so your button can slide in there. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool. Definitely pretty cool. I forget to use it sometimes. All right, so I'm going to mark my buttonhole. Can't really get too much closer because of that seam allowance in there. Let me go get my button too, sorry. I'm going to use tack buttons. Just need one. I just want you to know, once we get past this, this is going to go together so quickly. Promise. I'm so stressed for space here. So usually when I do a buttonhole, all I do is mark the top and bottom of it. And then I use the widths of the like the marked right there on the throat plate, and I just stay parallel to my edge right here, because usually your buttonhole is parallel to the edge. These are perpendicular, so it's a little different. This buttonhole placket barely fits my buttonhole. Look at that. This is so frustrating for me. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really frustrated by that. I'm really taking a risk with these markers, aren't I? Look at that. It's right in the... What would I do differently if I made these again? Number one, I wouldn't trim the 1/4 inch off this piece. Don't do that. Number two, I would probably not make this an exposed placket. I'd probably just, if you have the Dawn jeans, you could use that. That works great. All right, let's do this. Okay, my machine's about a mile away from me. And the drawer to my industrial machine's a little bit weird. All right, let's see here. If you're using a Bernina, a viewer gave me this tip. It was probably Barbara, actually, or Beverly. If you're using a Bernina to do buttonholes, make sure you thread through this little arm. It makes a huge difference. Before you chuck your machine thinking it does really terrible buttonholes, thread it through the arm and then try it. I had not really used my machine much for buttonholes until I started streaming. So I didn't even know that was the thing. So, okay, so I'm using this Aurifil thread up top, but it's not drawing off very nicely. Oh, I was going to change my needle too. Spring or regular? Hi, Stephanie. Oh, nice. You're catching me kind of at a point where I'm struggling, so I would definitely check. That doesn't seem like it's going all the way up there. I feel like there's a couple of things I would do differently on the button fly. So definitely watch that through. I will most likely go back and put at least timestamps to the zipper fly, or I mean the button fly on these, and they'll be in the description, mainly because I know folks will be here for that specifically. So that might help. You can get past me figuring things out. This isn't usually, this is a really simple, button flies are really simple to sew. My problem is mainly that you're supposed to trim 1/4 of an inch off that, and now I feel like my placket's really narrow, so I wouldn't do that. All right, the machine's so far away. Let's do it. I'm in that seam allowance too, so I feel like that's gonna give me some trouble. So the trouble I mean is like my machine struggles to go backward up that hump of the seam allowance that it's sitting on right now. This thread's too thin. Look at that. Look how ugly that looks. Yeah, that looks pretty bad. That's marker right there. It's really not that bad. Let's try it again. Oh, I should have cut the thread. Come on. So what happens is it struggles to go up the hump of the seam allowance in there, right? And then when it's coming down, it's almost like it's going downhill and it goes too fast. You know what I'm thinking? I shouldn't have done contrast buttonholes. That's what I'm thinking. Yours has a, yeah, this is the buttonhole foot. Come on. I would like a new home machine just for a better buttonhole, but I'm not buying a home machine just for a better buttonhole. Get my drift? Alright, let's take this out. We're going to cut the threads. And we're going to do it again. We're committed. Yeah. Come on, baby. It's like I'm asking my machine to pull a Ginger Rogers, you know, go up backwards in high heels and up a hill, going up that seam allowance. Oh, that's awesome, Malin. Oh, Ray. Thank you. Wait, I saw someone ask a question. Wait. Someone usually made a tutorial putting a zip fly in the Glissando. Yeah, you can mention who. Absolutely. Yeah, I've never really used this Aurifil thread, and I bought it thinking it was top stitch thread. It's not. So it's too lightweight in my opinion. The one I bought is too lightweight. I'm sure they make one that's an appropriate weight. See, look, come on, baby. Look at how terrible it makes my buttonhole look, too. It's like it's meant only for quilters. You know? Which, that's great. Good for, you know, that's great. They have good thread. Nothing wrong with that. I like how smooth it is. It's very nice quality. I like the color of it. Come on. And the gentle sheen. Oh, I got a stray stitch there. It's just, it's not buttonhole thread. Buttonhole thread is usually thicker. Yeah, right, Malin? I feel the same way. Yeah, that's great. I think I did see that. Yeah, Tomcat Stitchery. She's awesome. Excellent sewist. What am I soothing my poor buttonhole mental anxiety with right now? The fact that my buttons are going to cover it up. See, it struggles to get off the seam allowance, and then it's like, whee! You know what the bright side is about doing a, about doing a buttonhole placket is that when you are done, all you have to do is attach your buttons, and you're done. I like that. Because I'm not a big fan of how when you're done with the zipper fly, you still have to do a buttonhole and a button. You guys know I'm lazy, right? I know you'd never believe me if I said that, but it's worth a try. I just want to get back to the sewing. You could also do, there's something about this one that keeps making it veer. You could also do not contrast thread. I would recommend that. Because these definitely scream, look here! You know what I mean? No, I don't, Mafia. That's the first time I've done that in years. No, I never do that. This thread is just too lightweight. And I'm kind of cranky right now, if you haven't noticed. Let's see. Yeah, it is. All cotton. Yep, number 3 foot. It's the seam allowance. The seam allowance right here, this ridge, doesn't like that. But yeah, look at my ink is also making them look a little bit wonky, like right here. That's just ink right there. This one I forgot to clip my threads first because I was just like, let's do another one. And look at how soft my fabric is, that you can see the stitches there. Walter, go away. All right, let's get back to the sewing. So we can move this gal out of the way. Maybe I'll go like this. Does that change my lighting too badly here? There we go. We have most of our workspace now. Right. Oh, do the bound button. Oh, yeah, Walter's little. I want my money back. I want bound buttonholes. All right. So let's do the last seam of our fly here, just so you can stay with the tutorial here. Yeah, I love those keyhole buttons. My machine does not do those very well. That's such a good point though, Megan. They're so attractive, and I agree. I totally agree. I think they're especially really great when you're doing something like this button fly, because the shank of the tack button is pretty big. And so that little keyhole gives it just a little bit more room so that your buttonhole's not spreading like this when the buttonhole's in, or the button's in there. So Yeah, right, Libby? I know. All right, so let's get rid of this brown thread here. So really, this button fly, it's actually not hard, right? I mean, it's just 2 seams, you know, you got your extension to your center front and understitch, and your fly to your center front and understitch. That's it. It's very pretty easy. I feel like this step right here is the one that makes or breaks it, besides those crappy buttonholes. Because this is when you got to make sure that you're going to actually get, so let's see how we want it to look is like this, right? We want this. I don't know. I think the contrast buttonholes look good, but I don't know, you guys. So you want that to cover up right here, right? This little focal point, you want it to be nice and smooth. So that means you're going to have to stitch a little bit inside the seam allowance in order to get that to happen, but not too much. You don't want to pucker. So I'm going to line up this crotch inseam here. And remember, I shortened my fly here because I didn't really want this going too deep down. I don't afraid check the buttonholes. And I'm also going to go just a little bit in here. Let's try this. I recommend sewing this and then checking it before you do any top stitching. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. I'm not cutting the buttonholes until I'm done either. So let's see. So if I open this up, is my fly going over here enough? You want these to be, like I pushed my seam allowance towards the body of the pant here. You're supposed to press it towards the extension, but I don't like that. It was too bulky, so I did it this way. So my button is going to sit right there, so that's fine. And I don't have a pucker here. That's great. I'm not going to top stitch in brown the crotch right here, I don't think. I think I have just too much already. Too much brown right there, you know what I mean? So we're going to top stitch this. And you can go up a little bit higher than the seam that you just stitched. And I think also this pant right here, making it a little bit slack so that it's doing this right here over your seam. Just don't pull this apart really taut because you don't want to get a pucker there and you don't want to expose any of your raw edges. So we could go a little bit. We can even do something like this, you know, decorative like this. And then, you know, you can do your bar tack here. We're going to, this buttonhole is not even useful. I'm not going to be able to do it in there. So I'm just going to go across the bottom of my fly a couple times here. Instead of doing a bar tack up here, which I normally would do. Oh yeah, Sydney. What about the Noise jeans? Have you made those? By Muna and Broad. Do you fit their size range? Because I kind of don't, but I want to make the Noise jeans. All right, so there we go. And then you're going to put your buttons on. Phew. Okay. Now we're going to do our backs. Okay, we got our owl pockets. We got our backs. Going to do the darts first. All right. Back to the nice, calm sewing. That's nice and straightforward. I'm going going to backstitch these, but I'm going to do it inside the dart like this. The pocket is going over the dart, so I'm not too worried about anything there. I'm also going to top stitch it. I'm not sure if this is in the instructions. I'm just going to make it nice and flat like this. So I press the dart towards the center back, and you'll know because it lays nice and flush up there at the top. And then just top stitch it down. I've got my 2 pocket marks there still. Noise with the aims. I like the aims. They're a little low for me. I can't remember if I changed them a little bit. I think it's really because that jean material I used was so stretchy, you know? So I feel like I need belt loops on those. I can't reach my pincushion. Boy, I fell off, didn't I? Wow. I did. There we go. Normally I hand tie my darts. I'm just going to leave that. No, I'm not going to leave this loop. I'm going to cut it. Now I'm going to stitch this again. Normally I would hand tie my dart, especially on a bust or something like that. Because this is finishing inside the pocket, I'm just going to backstitch up here in the excess of the dart. Not along the leg of the dart. I'm not, you know, not that crazy. No, I'm just teasing. All right, I'm pressing my dart towards the center back. And again, I'm going to just top stitch it down. Make it nice and flat. And let's get our pocket out. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think, ouch. Owl on this side and moon on that side? Or like this? I kind of like that better. I'm going to change the, first of all, well, that's okay. This is really distracting me. The funny thing is, look at this. The machine here perfectly lined up with the edge of the table. Here's the edge of this table, so this is the camera's perfectly. But doesn't it look like curved here? All right. What was I going to do? I was going to change the brighten this up just a tad. And I'm also going to warm it up a little bit. It's so cool, doesn't it? Isn't it? You like this way then? Yeah, I do too. I'm wearing my quail pockets today. I'm getting into a bird thing. Okay, we'll do this one first. And I'm going to do not on my cover stitch, because like I was saying, you can't do corners and angles and things like that with a twin needle on your home machine or with the cover stitch. You just can't. But let me tell you, I've seen the machine that can, and it's really cool. It's so mesmerizing to watch, you know, like, because it'll, oh, static and thread, man. It'll come down, you know, the side there, and the interior needle here, they'll be like doot, 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 doot. This one stops, and this one keeps going doot, doot, and then that's when they're lined up again, doot, doot, doot. It's really cool. The fact that someone can engineer a machine to do something like that is amazing to me. Like, gosh, that's just really cool. Oh, I did it off camera, Esther. But I will give you a tip. If you want to do stitching on your back pockets and you happen to have like a see-through paper or vellum, like I used vellum because of this quilting class I took, I had some. I just printed my design on the vellum and then I lay the paper directly on there and I just stitch through it. So this way, yeah, it does look like the kitty's flying away. You're right, I like that. All right, so we're gonna center our pocket when I mark mine, I usually put the pins into where the marking is. This is really close together. Was the marking really like that? Maybe I marked the wrong size. I think I'm gonna just slide that over a little bit, you know what I mean, jelly beans? That angled up the dart is a lot too. All right, so I usually just pin a couple times inside my pocket like this. These are really short, so they won't do the job. Just like that. And then I'm gonna do the double needle look around here. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention, this is the only thing I did off camera, was I hemmed the pocket and then stitched my back pockets. The way that they recommend you do this is folding your hem, like we'll pretend like this is the top pocket. Turn it to the wrong side and then turn it to the right side. And so then your pocket, you're looking at it right here. Sew across the ends of your pocket here, right here. And then you turn it right side out, and then you'd have this nice finished corner here, like this. So I didn't do that. I don't have a whole lot of good luck with that. So I just did it my way. All right, so because I'm gonna do the double needle, I could start right side up for once. It's all nice and flat. Yep, okay. It's pretty thick up here because I interfaced my pocket because of the embroidery. I never do that. I wanted to try it, and it was really nice to deal with. I used just a woven fusible. About right there. You could fold under this whole edge and iron it first. This twill is so squishy that it really makes my stitches look not very crisp. You know what I mean? Look at that. It looks okay. Yeah, exactly, Esther. Kind of close to center seam. I think you might be right. You're right. Well, this would be 1/2 inch away, and this would be 1/2 inch away. Yeah, you're kind of right, Barbara. Let's just fix that. You can tell it's really thick. Oh, really, Sydney? I think the ash jeans for me are my favorite pair to wear. I really like all of them, though. I like the Gingers. I like the Morgans. I like the Dawn a lot, actually. Foiled Ray. What else did I make? The Mountain View pull-ons, the Gingers. I think my Gingers, I don't know, they actually are great. They're just, I would say, very momish. The Noise are baggy. All right, let's check this out. Let's get rid of all these threads here. Yeah, I think you're right, Barbara. Below the butt are baggy. What are the choices right now? As far as like jeans that fit a lot of sizes, oh, I'm so used to starting upside down. I'm going to try and do better this time. Okay, perfect pocket stitching. I'm holding my palm here because of the dart here. You can see, can you see the little bit of like little puckers there? I'm always trying to like keep it a little smooth there. You know, you're putting a flat object to something that's, we just made kind of cupped. Oh, I thought Ginger expanded. Is Megan Nielsen expanding hers? Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too, Sandollar. Like, I was thinking, that's why I kind of was asking, like, what are the options these days for size-inclusive jeans? Oh, I made the saffrons too. Not size-inclusive, by the way. Yeah, I thought the ash did too, Malin. I could get my handy-dandy notebook out if you guys want. And we could look at all the jean patterns that I have of the sizing. No, you don't. You stay there. So yes, I am aware that I have two different top stitch colors going on in my jeans. It was intentional. Now we're going to go back around. I'm definitely not as accurate as a cover stitch, am I? I think I just ran out of bobbin thread. Or I'm about to. Yeah, the mountain view, exactly. Oh, I'm really close. Yeah, Ash Curve, that's it. Oh, yeah, the Dibby. I haven't, a lot of people recommend those. I know, Sarah. Me too, I know. I want mom jeans on the weekends. What'd you hear? What'd you hear? You heard what too? That seam, Sydney, isn't curved at all. You can just overlap the pattern pieces and, oh, you heard it. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, you heard it. Yeah, there's no shaping in that back seam. So back seam. Why does that sound funny all of a sudden? So you can just overlap those pattern pieces and cut it as one. And I do, yeah, in the sew along I do show how to remove it. I will say, Sydney, though, that it is kind of nice because I did mine, I put it in mine and I used matching thread so that it wasn't like calling attention to it. And what I like about it is because you know how jeans, when they're out of a stretch fabric, they can kind of start feeling a little like, you know what I mean? Like there's just a little too much fabric. And that adds some structure to it. So it's not shaping, but it's also does add structure. All right, so I moved this pocket So let's put this one in the same spot. This is what you do. You lay this pocket on here like this. I'm like forgetting my own trick. And then it doesn't look like I'm lined up at all though, does it? These pockets are really stiff, you guys. Between the interfacing, this top stitching, the dart back there. My booty's going to be nice and firm looking. Is there, yeah, sure, Nancy. Yeah, you can just, exactly, use your other jean pattern stuff and just same thing. The great thing about swapping button flies and zipper flies with jeans is that the front pants don't change at all. They're exactly the same. You just need to change the pieces and the sewing steps. Oh, I'm always starting upside down. And did I change my, oh, we almost had an exciting moment there. Not in the good way either. You have to buy the curve separate. So meaning you can only buy the curve or not, right? Look at how I interfaced this fabric and it's still unraveling like a Dickens. Did you see that just a second ago? Did you see where that pin was? It was like down here. A little suspicious here. Okay. I don't need my butt looking asymmetrical, you know? Like we're already fighting Mother Nature these days. Okay. This is feeling a little weird. Okay. We are a very good top stitcher. We are a very good top stitcher. I'm not really. I'm not the best top stitcher. I love top stitching. I'm not very good at it. I needed to turn this under before I turned there. I can really tell how full these pants are by how much fabric I'm kind of shuffling around. What are those Dibby jeans called? Are those the, they have an interesting name. Oh, Sydney. Thank you. That's nice of you. Thank you. Guys, I saw this huge drop in my ad revenue. There it is. Yay. And I don't know what it is, except I'm wondering if my experiment with what I did was I got rid of ads in the middle of videos because those are annoying. Emoji overall. And I put a non-skippable one at the beginning, and that's it. I follow another YouTuber that does that, and I like it. I'm totally willing to watch a non-skippable ad at the beginning. But I've seen the ad revenue drop, but it went up a lot, and then it dropped. And so I'm wondering if it takes like a month to show you that. It's so interesting. Like, I don't really care about talking about this because the ad revenue is really, really piddly. Like, I get $200 a month in YouTube. That basically, you know, almost pays for 2 projects a month. It's pretty good though, I guess, right? But it's very inconsistent. All right, well, there we go. That's a stiff pocket. Whew, made it. All right, so let's overlock this center back seam, and then we can top stitch it on the cover stitch. And I won't have to change this thread quite yet. Yeah, right, Carrie? I've thought about that too. Bravado and Dauphine and the Hetty. Who are those by? The teeth. We all like a nice toothy grin, don't we? All right, so let's overlock. I'm going to overlock it. You can straight stitch it and then finish your edge. 1/2 inch seam allowance. I feel like I need to trim a little bit more than that. Holy vibration, man, right? Those are the Dibby. Okay, great. None of those sound familiar to me. Okay. So I always say this exact same note, but when I top stitch my rise, I always press the seam allowance to my right as I'm facing the pants. And I do this on the front and the back. And that's so that when I do that and I sew when I get to sewing the inseam together, these seams will be offset from one another, reducing the bulk there. I really like more of a seam allowance when I'm sewing my pants. Look at how small the throat space is here. I really wanted the one with a huge throat space, but I just couldn't spend that much money. Like, this is ridiculous. But you don't normally, you know, top stitch jeans. So yeah. A little bit tricky since my pocket is so stiff. Ooh, I think I just got a wobble. I'm just trying to keep it nice and flat, you know. Might as well just keep going. I was going to pull it back out, but let's just do that. There we go. Well, bam. That's quite a butt. Look how huge that rise is. Look how long that is. Oh my goodness. I think we're going to be right back here in a second. Let's see. What loop are you currently working on? Oh, okay, Matthew. Oh, okay, okay. The Billy wearable blankets. Yeah, right, Nancy? I know. I skip ads, you guys. And I don't fault you for doing it at all. Sometimes you kind of don't want to lose that momentum, you know, if you're working side by side. All right, so we're going to sew the side seams now. It's getting real. I kind of want to sew these with my single needle and then leave my 1/2 inch seam and then, although, what do I want? Like, This is kind of nice. Look how nice and flat this is. This is the center back rise. Cover stitch really encases it, you know. It's a narrow seam. I just think like having the 1/2 inch seam is just nice. It's nicer. Ooh, Libby, what'd you get? Yeah, right, Carrie? Except the master class ones. I love those ads. I love the masterclass ones. I just saw this one for, someone I did not even know who she was or that she even existed in the world, and she does like set design and lighting. Yeah, unboxing in the chat, Libby. She's probably at the door, tearing into her way back order. Okay. Now we're ready. You know, I think I used a size 16 needle for my buttonhole. I'm just thinking about that right now. Maybe I should experiment with that. I use a size 16 here. All right. Really, having that machine that really hinders my space. So I did a few minor fit adjustments on these pants, if you were here yesterday. One of which was I took out a little bit of the hip, and I went all the way through to the hem because they're very, very full legs. Yep, Sydney, that's correct. Morgan and Dawn's are non-stretch. All the other ones we've talked about have been stretch. These are non-stretch. All right. It's quite the statement of thread in the inside. Yeah, right, Carrie? They're educational, and they're just cool. Like, I really enjoy the production quality of those ads. I think you have to be kind of a big-time YouTuber to get those ads. Oh, that's cool, Malin. Smart. Half Moons. Oh, that's right. That's by Atelier, Half Moon Atelier. Haven't sewn anything by them. Libby's made a lot of jeans. This summer you made a lot of jeans for your daughter, right? We're almost to the waistband, which is, I know, the next bit that gives people a little bit of pause. Hi, Erica. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I have a Juki 8700-7, so that means it has the electronics on it. All right, I'm gonna overlock these edges here. Do I want to do my inseam right now? Just to save a trip over there? Let's do that. Nancy. Yeah, I bet. All right, so remember when you're doing your inseam that when you get to this knee notch up here, everything should match if you're going from a hem to the knee notch. I don't know if the glissandos have the ease built between the two knee notches, but we're about to check it out. But if you're ever sewing pants and you get to this point here, the knee notch, and you get up to the rise and you're like, why don't they match? I cut it out perfectly. Usually you need to ease between this knee notch and the other one. So we're just gonna line this up and really, you know, just line up your center seams here. Let's get all these crazy threads here. Line up your center seams. and you'll see if you have to ease it, and that's okay. Just stretch it a little. It's very easy to do because there's so much bias along this inseam section here. Sometimes you can't even tell that you're easing it. But I definitely see a lot of discussions about this with folks. Yeah, I don't think there is. Like my knee notches are right there. They're kind of a full pant, so maybe it felt unnecessary. It's very helpful on jeans though. Oops, that was a little wobbly, huh? Where's that wobble spot? It was like right here. I'm just gonna straighten this out a little bit. All right, let's overlock. You're like a tin man. Oh, cool. We're on a mission to sew every pair of sewing pattern pair of jeans out there, aren't we? I am. We're up to 7 now. 8 today. Ooh. I don't know if I would consider this a jeans pattern, but it is. Look at my basket came off again. Sorry for the vibration. Molly is so good. Oops, that's my phone. So I think if I were to do this, if I think about this, if I was taking my time, I'd probably do the inseam first, not the side seams. I would top stitch the inseam, then I would do the side seams. Traditionally, you do not top stitch your side seams past the depth of the pocket. These are really full pants though, so I think I can still get in there to top stitch. I usually do Erica, but I won't change live on camera. Hopefully that's understandable. But I usually show pictures on Instagram right away. And if you're not on Instagram, let me finish this seam. Oh my gosh, this thing today is just like, it's really got my number. If you're not on Instagram, you can go to my website, and probably within the next couple days, I will have pictures of it being worn, and then all the links to the videos. This time it's only 2 videos. It's just the cutting video from yesterday and all the pattern changes I made, and today the sewing video. And then it'll have like what size I made, what fabric I used, what mods I did, what level I think it is as far as like sewing difficulty, but I feel like that is something up to you. And then it's the only place you're going to see my candid notes about the pattern, project, garment, what I do differently. It is a very, very concise description. It's not a ploy to get you to my website. It's just a way for you to see everything in one place because YouTube is so hard to navigate sometimes. Look at this. I'm telling you. I honestly think the vibration pad is making my machine vibrate more. Trying to read chat. What did Eliza? Wow, good to know. Have the pattern, but so many patterns, so little time. I mean, no time with work right now. Which one are you talking about, Eliza? Yeah, right, Erica? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and my website's on the screen. So, you just head there, and then if you're ever curious if I've made a garment and you're kind of like, I wonder if she's made that one, there's a search bar on my website, and if you type in the name of it, it'll usually come up. And then all the garments are organized. How's it? It's like a tab on the top of my site. I think it says videos and garments. And they're organized by like tops, bottoms, dresses, things like that, home items. I've made a lot of things. Probably, I think we're over 150 items, easy, right now. Easy. All right, so what do you guys think about top stitch? I think I'll definitely do the contrast on the side seam down to the pocket. But what do you think on the inseam? Should I do contrast? I mean, we're kind of whole hogging with the contrast top stitch thread right now. Yeah, so. Yeah, Liza. Yeah, that does sound, the Dawn jeans and stretch. Those are pretty full cut. They're a lot like these Glissandos, but they're a traditional silhouette. So they have the back yoke, they're also not cropped. Well, thanks, Erica. You don't even know me yet. I like to sew. We just had our 3-year anniversary. We just hit 10,000 subscribers. Time to make a scrap catcher. Beverly, why can't my scrap catcher just catch the scraps? You know? All right. I'm going to just top stitch down to the bottom of my pocket here. Look at this intersection here. You guys saw me lay my pattern piece, didn't I? This is too much of a point, by the way. This isn't okay. We aren't shaped like that. Calders. Who does make those? Is that the same person that does the that Persephone? Oh, cool, Erica. Well, welcome back. Welcome to the live. Everyone's really awesome here. Don't scare her off. Don't listen to them. Actually, listen to them. Oftentimes, they're a lot smarter than me. I'm just their sewing monkey. Okay. Where's the bottom of my pocket? Here it is, right here. I feel it. Okay. I'm going to do a fake back tack. Yeah, you're welcome. We're doing a blazer sew along on Saturdays right now. Next week, what am I making next week, you guys? It's the, I'm making the Piper Boho tunic by Wardrobe by Me Patterns. It is a very helpful chat. I really love when I see the crowdsourcing of patterns because I learn a lot too. I don't remember any of it, but you know, I'm busy. I am definitely your sewing monkey. There's so much pant right now. I'm making this look harder than it is, but it's just kind of a lot pulling on it right now. Fake back tack. All right, so What do we think? Do we want contrast inseam stitching? Is this bugging us that I did contrast on the back and not on the front fly? Let's just check them out. I'm being lazy and not wanting to turn right side out right now. These are soft. They feel like pajamas. Even though it's twill. Look at those pockets though. Aren't they cute? Sorry, the camera's really low, huh? All right, so here we go. I mean, no one's gonna see right here. They better not be looking there, right? So, oh, you never really sew bags? I love bag sewing. I saw that Hearts Fabric sent out a newsletter like yesterday or the day before advertising a bunch of bag patterns, and some of them were the ones that we were just talking about. And I saw, Nancy, you made that noodlehead crescent tote, which is really cute. And I replied to their newsletter. I'm like, I'd love to sew bags for you. So they were like, yeah. Yeah, Julie, I do the same thing with live streams. I talk on my phone and I watch on something else. Look how huge those darts are though, flopping around back there. All right, you guys, what do you think? So I have a little bit of top stitch there. Do I need the inseam in contrast? Can you see, really? Ugh, the coloring today is so bad. How about I do full screen? All right. So it was a little overexposed, huh? Very overexposed. Wow. Look at that butt. What do I think? I'll do the contrast. No? Okay. No on the inseam? Yeah, maybe I won't, because then it'll match the center front rise. All right. Thank you for voting, Beverly. Okay. So a lot of us are probably gearing up for fall sewing. I honestly can't believe it's September, because that means it's almost October, which means it's almost November. My ear still hurts from my glasses, so I tuck my hair behind my ear. I know it looks ridiculous, but it just makes it more comfortable. No opinion on the inseam. All right, what's going on here? What are those threads? Oh, this is from when I sewed this. Okay, that's fine. Get rid of these little threads here. Make it look nice. I'm going to push the inseam toward the front. This is ridiculous. I should have sewn this inseam first and then top stitched it. But I wasn't thinking. So now we're going to watch me struggle. But you're going to learn, Erica, my chat likes sewing drama. There you go. Sewing drama. All right. Okay. Here we go. I feel something under my nail. Okay, here we go. Meanwhile, Molly's behind me having the most peaceful nap of her life because she's not at home with Loki bugging her or the guy installing a window, making her stay alert. She's so out. She's so cute. You know what I love about matching top stitch thread is it doesn't have to be that great. So drama live. Night, Malin, sleep well. Ah, right, Libby. You know what it is actually? I actually did have a sewing solution last year. Yes, Molly does like sewing ASMR. She really knows. I used mask elastic and put it to the ends, and that helped hold them like firmer and not touching my ear. Right, Eliza? Ooh, look at that seam matching. Ray's here for the chit chat. She will go with anything. So drama. Oops, I hit my back tack by accident. It's Ray here. In case you don't know that about this machine, there's 3 ways to back tack. 2 of them with your hand. Almost there. I'm almost there. Oh my gosh, these feel like pajama bottoms. They're so big. If these were any of the other jeans we talked about today, except the Dawn jeans, I would not have been able to do this. Especially the ash. The ash are pretty narrow. Okay, so let's get this here. All right. We're now to the waistband. And let's get those pieces out. What's this brown thread here? I'm always suspicious. I'm like, what's that? Okay. We have our waistband here. So I interfaced my inside and outside waist. You don't have to do that. I accidentally had cut it. So I decided to do it anyway because this twill is actually very soft. It's not very boardy at all. And I personally, you'll find when you're making a lot of pants, you end up kind of getting a personal preference to your waistband. Like I don't like my waistbands cut on the bias. I don't mind if they're straight or curved. This one's curved. And I don't like the inside waistband to be lighter weight fabric. I like the heavier one. I think that's because I have so much in my middle, my belly area, that it feels more secure and more discreet or modest, you know? So that's why I really like having the boardier waistband. It also doesn't like crumple, you know? So, all right, I don't need this. I couldn't figure out which notch was mine, so I just didn't notch it. This is the left, and this is the right. And so what we'll do here is I'm just going to double notch the left. We'll double notch it right here. And now I can get rid of all these pieces here. All right, so this is... Wait, was this the left? Did I just double do the right? Oh, I just did the front. Okay. This is the center front seam. All right, so this is how it goes. Great. So I'm very methodical sometimes about these so that I make sure that I have one of each and I don't sew 2 lefts to each other or 2 rights. So we're going to do the, that is wrong. Don't do that. Do it to the back. Wow. I'm being all methodical and I just sewed that wrong. Don't do that. One, 2, 1, 2. There we go. I don't think so, Terry. I don't think it matters what, oh, I'll check out your bags later. That's awesome. I don't think it matters personally how much that difference is. Mine's not much different either. Yeah. I knew that this was wrong. Now I'm doubting it. Okay, sorry. I was really methodical until I wasn't. This is the right. And this is the right. I wish I could have told which notch was mine. This would be a lot easier. And then this is my left. So what you can do is you can flip over your two backs, one way, one the other way, and you could go like, this one goes to that one, this one goes to this one, this one goes to this one, this one goes to this one. Lots of ways to be methodical. Now sew it up before you forget. Side seams first. Yeah, bra size and pattern cup size. Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, Terry, like, that's what happened to me on the cashmerette blazer. I had to do a small bust adjustment. I only laugh. I'm not laughing at that. It's just like I said, I've had a breast reduction and I'm still very busty. I just carry it very differently because of the surgery. So the fact that I was a small butt, I was like, wow. But their focus is making their patterns for large busted folks. This does not work. This is not right. This is not right. Is that right? I don't like this transition. Do you see it? That's really not like, yeah, that is the side seam. Huh, okay. Wow, all right. This is the left front, so this is the inside waistband, and this is the outside waistband. So I'm going to assemble my waistband together first. I'm going to sew it half-inch seam all the way around the three sides. The short ends, the top curved edge. What is going on? What is going on with this pattern? There's something wrong. Something's wrong. Maybe not with the pattern, but I have something going on here. Maybe they were off to begin with in my bin, and this is why I keep having trouble with it. There's something up, though. I can tell. These should fit against each other, and they're not. So this means that one of these is the right and one of these is the left. I'm going to take these apart. I want to just go do a reset here. You know? Yeah, doesn't it look wonky? It's like I have the front seam to the side. So let's get to the bottom of this because you really need that curve to be a nice smooth transition along your waistband. At least the back is very straightforward. Wow, Nicole, that's nuts. And do you find that you like that size better? Like, did that work out? That's interesting. It's almost quitting time. Woo woo. Oh, you're doing the saltwater slip? Nice. That's from Friday Pattern Company, right? Cool. All right, hard reset. Let's just put some notches on these puppies. Okay, that's still that. I think this is the problem right here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to, yeah, and see this time, here's the problem, look. This waistband is symmetrical. That's really confusing me, so that's why I keep doubting it. In general, what you would see is this would like be straight and flatten out and go up, and it does, but it's almost perfectly symmetrical, and it just probably just worked out that way, you know. See, remember that time, first time I notched the side seams, remember? And then I was like, oh wait, no, I notched the center front. Look, it doesn't even matter. But on this, I feel like it would. And I think this is how this goes, like that. Okay. Total ready to quit time. Yeah, right, Barbara? Shoot, it's 1:42 p.m. and right now I'm feeling like it's cocktail hour. Okay, so let's see, we have our back. And this is the left, and this is the side seam. Okay, this would be, go there, right? And this is the side seam. This goes here. This here. This here. All right, I'm gonna try again. This is the last time I'm sewing these. Because it's lunchtime for me. Sew this waistband on. A little nervous about top stitching it in contrast thread though. I better get my game face on before I do that. Is anyone doing Halloween costumes? Are you still in the... I mean, is there trick-or-treating this year? You know? All right, so this is the left front. So this is the inside. Okay. All right, we're back on track. Put these right sides together. We're gonna sew up the center front short edge, cross the top curve, the convex curve, and then, or the concave actually. And then we're gonna attach it to the waist of the pants. Open up your seams to kind of reduce the bulk. My home machine over there keeps vibrating, making noises. I think it's good to make sure you're fairly accurate when you sew these seams because you don't really want the width of your waistband to vary. thinking about it kind of helps you stay on track. And I like to check it pretty frequently. So right now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to check these two and go, all right, did I actually sew those at the same seam allowance when, because remember these two are going to overlap, you know, like that. So. Oh my gosh, you guys talk a lot. Oh, right, Carrie, exactly. Each inch is a cup size. Oh. Orange lingerie, Waistband bra. Oh, that's cool. All right, I'm gonna trim my corners now that I checked the width of my waistband is the same left to right. We're gonna turn it right side out. Oof, this twill thing, I'm glad I interfaced both edges. It's gonna make it a little thick, but it makes it so like right now I run the risk less of pulling out my corner, you know, so. Hey Leah, how's it going? Nice to see you. Welcome. Yeah, it's kind of an epic project today. Well, I think I've been making it a little more epic than it really needed to be. This one's not looking so good, is it? Let's see. All right. There, that's better. All right, so I'm gonna iron this because it kind of sets myself up better. Are you not entertained? Ray is always entertained. It's not really lined up very well, is it? There we go. Late lunch break? Nice. Are you in the West too? Oh, that's cool, Esther. Oh, I thought I matched that perfectly and I didn't. Okay, come on. Warm up, baby. Warm up. All right, so what do we have left? We have attaching the waistband and the hems, and that's it. So we're almost done. And then one buttonhole, which I don't have to do on camera. And then we're done. Still working from home? Yeah. Oh, it's San Francisco. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're just a few hours from each other then. I'm ready for lunch too. What do I have today? Oh, I didn't bring leftovers. I brought a frozen lunch. I had Michael's really good risotto yesterday for lunch. There we go. Lately, I've been having to kind of get the steam going by pressing the button. See you, Nicole. Thanks for coming. I've got my dog behind me. Am I the pony in this situation? Alright, and then now I'm gonna iron it on the edge here. You guys are all spicy today, all full of vim and vinegar. Whatever the heck vim is. All you need is a pony. Well, thank you for not thinking I'm the pony. I'm just doing this now because it makes it a little easier. Because when I have the pants are so... Why is this so tight right here? I really need to clip this. Wow. Okay. This curve is so much I need to clip it. Let's do that. These scissors are not as sharp as those others, are they? Will I, hi Kathleen, will I understitch it? I don't know what that mean. Like, what do you mean like, am I gonna leave the inside waistband hanging down flat? I was planning on clean finishing the whole waistband. Does that answer your question, Kathleen? Is that what you're looking for? Could we pretend George is different from a year? Oh, really? It's energy? Vim is energy? Oh, look at you guys. You guys are Googling twins there. Not really. So what I was going to do, Kathleen, is I'm going to attach it to the pants and then I'm going to top stitch going all the way around. Oh, understitching the clip. No, because I'm going to top stitch it later. That's the top of the waistband. Look how much that curve is. See, this is me as a human. This is me as a waistband. I guess I'm the human in this situation. Sewing the seam along the inside waist. I'm not sure if that's what I'm doing. I don't consider any of what I'm about to do as understitching, but maybe it is what you're looking for. I took in a little bit at the center back, Eliza, and that's it. That's it. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. This is the left. This must be the right. Okay. Let's just hold it up and see if it roughly matches. Right? I'm a little nervous. All right, so I usually start from the inside waistband. You guys have heard my spiel a million times before. I start from the inside and then I turn it to the right side. I know the directions don't have you do it that way. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. I find this way to be a lot easier because I can control the outcome. And then let's turn these right side out. It'll be easier for me to sew it since I don't have a free arm on my machine. Oi! Okay, there we go. It's a lot of pant. All right, so I'm going to sew the inside waistband to the inside of the pants first. So I'm going to pin it at all the landmarks here. Which means like the center back and the side seams. Just kind of get those going. No, right, Sydney? I don't think so either. But I was just thinking maybe Kathleen meant meant what I actually am doing. Wait, what did Barbara say? Oh yeah, I'm not understitching the seam, I'm clipping. Okay, so we have our center front. pretty much all I need except for this one here. Get all these threads towards the seam allowance. And I take this, you know, center seam here and place it on that edge there. I usually like open it up like this, see that? So one thing I always find tricky, and I do better sometimes than other times. So the thickness of this fly sometimes will interrupt or disrupt what you're trying to match here at the center front. There's probably some really great tactics out there by the folks that only sew denim, that specialize in it. So what you can do is kind of overcompensate a little bit and think about the seam of this waistband right here being at the middle of the thickness here, right? So lining it up so that that's really where it's going to land, because it's got to wrap around that thickness essentially, you know? So you might as well set it up to do that because it's going to do it anyway. So if you set it up to do it, you're more likely for it to land on the end and look really nice. I'll double check this one. This side's not as thick because it's just a fold. I'm going to try this with my seam allowance open. I think that that actually will be more accurate, to be honest. Yeah, our first Zoom for September is this Saturday. All right, Delwyn. Another hospital visit. I hope you're okay. Take care of yourself. Have a good day. You're going into spring now, so you're not even caring about any of this fall sewing talk, aren't you? All right, so let's sew this at a 1/2 inch seam. So now this is back to my spiel of making sure your seam allowances are pretty accurate when you do your, you know, one thing we should have checked, we'll take it off and check, is let's make sure that this fly is lined up here at the top. It's really important. I'm going to take this out, in fact. I'm going to take this out. It's so nice of Delta to just wake up with us. It's pretty early morning in New Zealand. Okay. We'll repin this. So to set yourself up to succeed, because there's a lot of things happening. Like this last part is not that hard, but you've got to kind of like get ahead of yourself and think about some of these things. So making sure that this matches across this edge here, and see mine doesn't, right? See, it's like the fabric did, but these little pieces of pocket sticking up along the top there don't. Let's get rid of that. We don't want to mistakenly think of this as where we're measuring our 1/2 inch seam allowance from, right? So let's see, would that do it? And then we can kind of blend it in. I have this little belly curve in here, so I'm just kind of walking it along. And making sure that this is perfectly straight across here. And we'll get rid of this extra. It's really just my pocket sticking up, a little bit of the pocket lining. Now, when you go to sew your waistband, at least now we know we just gave it a better chance of the seam of the waistband lining up right here. And then all we're worried about then is our width of our waistband the same, which we did check at the sewing of it together. Now we just need to make sure we keep our seam allowance the same left and right, and then we're good. So you just got to think about those things ahead. They're not hard, right? You just got to remember, like, oh yeah. And I am notorious for forgetting that part. All right, so let's match my center there. This pin is already bent, as the one I just used. Yeah, right? Nancy, you're slacking. Okay. Sew that. Sometimes it's like so much more work to set it all up. The sewing is the quick part. So much pants, man. So much pant on here. So I don't use a lot of pins traditionally. Sometimes find it's a little easier for me to just position things as I go. Gives me a better shot. Not always. Sometimes it comes with bad consequences too. All right, so we're on the inside of the waist. And we're just gonna, the waistband is curved, so you might have to kind of walk it along the waistband if you didn't pin it. And just stay on that seam because it may feel like the waistband's not going to fit. And it's just that curve. The curve is just, it's kind of lying to you. It's all gonna fit, it's all gonna work out. But you gotta remember, like this edge here, or you know, like this edge of the waistband, if you measured along this cut edge here and measured along the seam, they would be very different numbers. And right now here I'm at this transition of the side seam to the back, and look at that angle. It's pretty sharp. So it's gonna be kind of funky feeling at first. You don't want to get a pucker there. Mine wants to pucker there. And I'm saying no. Just say no to puckers. Stay stitching the waist of the pants might be helpful in some fabrics. They might need that. Oi, where's my label? I didn't put my label in yet. Let's put it right here. Oh, gosh. Don't forget your label. And make sure your dart is nice and flush with the waistband or the waist edge. It is, Sarah. It is her. Yeah, yeah. So Nancy, Sarah was asking, she's probably feeding her dog right now, but Nancy, Sarah was asking about the, was it sunburst? What was it called? Right? Sunburst. Okay, same thing. I'm at that side seam. And see what I'm talking about? Like, it's such a steep angle that what happens is it's almost like you could clip into the waist and then it would lay nice and flat, but you don't really want to clip quite yet. There you go. There you go, Sarah. All right, I'm approaching my waistband again, and as I do that, I kind of pull the waistband like this and try and get the little short seam to be like kind of flat. Take out that pin. Put that seam in the middle. Yeah, I'm really liking putting the seam allowance open. I hope that isn't going to come back to bite me. See, look at that. It can definitely be clipped. I mean, look at that angle. Can you guys see that? All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to clip this waist. I don't think I've clipped a waist on jeans in a long time. It's pretty cool. Nice shaping. Just the curved areas. My seam allowance a little bit off there. I do want to clip I don't really need the outer curve, but I can so that it lays a little flatter so that those little flanges can kind of overlap one another. All right. So now we're going to turn our waistband to the right side. It's looking like a hot mess right now, I know. See that? But then we're going to top stitch it all on the right side, making it look nice, and we have complete control over what it looks like, right? All right. So I'm going to turn it inside out. Thanks, Kathleen. See, I told you, Sarah. She likes to try everything. That's exactly what I told her, Nancy. I was like, well, maybe Nancy has. Oh, look at that. My pet peeve. I've got a thread inside my interfacing. Wow. All right. So same thing, we're gonna pin it on our landmarks. Kind of want to use these short stubby pins because they're stouter. I'm going to do my side seams. That's pretty thick though. I don't even think, yeah, I didn't even make it. So maybe we'll do it a little in front. There aren't any carrier belt loops on this pattern, but you could add them. You could even just wear it for a bit and then decide if they need it, but they're pretty high-waisted, so you shouldn't need belt loops, unless you just like that look. You like my pockets? Yeah, they were a project, that's for sure. Oh, now that shifted. Look at that. That shifted a lot. Let's see if I can fix that a little bit. That's too much. When did that happen? My pants are starting to drink wine. See ya, Walter. Nice having you. See if I can adjust it in that short amount of time, short amount of distance. Let's pin it. See, this is proving my sometimes not pinning it doesn't work out for me. Okay. Okay, so now I need to ease in that little blip. All right. Very, very good, very good. Always better to just fix it, you guys. You'll struggle so much trying to cover it up. You spend, trust me, I know. You know? Okay, Eliza, see ya. Yeah, you know. You might as well, sometimes you just got to figure out like where you're willing to fuss. And I'm not willing to fuss on that kind of thing. All right, so I'm going to just pin these in a few key places. And then what I also like to do is I like to pin the waistband flat along the top here so that I make sure that I don't get this shifting around like this. I don't want any torquing with my waistband, and I don't want any like bubbling, you know, like, so this side, if I hemmed this like too, or stitched it down too shallow of a seam allowance, and then I had all this extra fabric on this side doing this, but this side was flat. Don't really want that either. So sometimes what I do is I pin it, make this nice and flat like this. This really helps. And then I just pin it kind of through all thicknesses parallel to that top seam. stabilizes it. Nice. Ooh, I haven't had tomato juice in forever. Do you like the spicy kind? Or is this code for a Bloody Mary that you're having there? I love carrot juice too. Like fresh carrot juice. Ooh, yum. I'll go through phases where I just have to have a lot of carrot juice. So I like to also get rid of these little backstitch threads. They love to poke out. So if you're having trouble getting everything lining up, I feel you on this for sure. One of the things you can console yourself with is remembering that you could just focus on this top, your left front, because that's the one that shows the most. And remember, all those buttons and stuff like that are really gonna, you know, distract. Let's check our waistband and see also if it is looking the same width. See here. What I don't like is this little angle. Do you see that? I think it's just because it's so thick right here. It's pulling in. I'm going like this. It's a little stretched out right there. All right. Let's top stitch, or I mean, pin a few. I want those quilting pins back. And make sure everything's nice and flat. Nice and flat. You don't have to worry about the inside. We've already sewn it. It's clean finished. You're good. You're done with the inside right now. So you're just worried about how the outside looks. It won't matter if you fall off of the edge of your waistband on the inside. So look at it. It's all nice and clean, except for whatever threads, you know, didn't get stuck in there. But look at that. See? We've already sewn it. It's nice and clean, right? You accidentally. That sounds like when I first got a food processor and I wanted to cut up a bunch of potatoes. We accidentally had a glutinous, weird, liquidy potato starch mush. You have happy accidents. I like it. I just can't get away from these pins for stuff like this. If I could be a pin designer, you know, trust me. Oh, you know what I didn't announce to you guys yesterday is, I know maybe it's not the folks here that are really concerned with this, but I finally ordered fabric. It all just kind of worked out really fast. I ordered some fabric to make binding. And it's probably on its way to me any day. The fabric is, not the binding. And then I contacted the binding vendor, and they're still going. I was a little nervous because I couldn't get a hold of them, and their phone was, it said user is busy, and then all the other phone numbers were disconnected. I was like, oh my gosh, I just bought so much fabric to make binding, and watch, these guys aren't doing it, or the pandemic kind of did them in. I was a little worried about it. But they're there, they're up and running, they're busy, So I have something on my Instagram stories, a kind of little poll on what kind of bias you like. So you know, all my patterns usually take 1 3/8 inch wide bias. So I'm willing to do some crosscut if I hear from folks interested in crosscut. I think it is a little bit of a surcharge, but that's about it. So I put in my stories as the poll, 2.5 inch wide crosscut or 1.5 inch wide bias, but I do mean 1 3/8. Someone said 1 3/8. I was like, yeah. 1 3/8 is just really great for making a really standard width bias. Get all these threads into the seam allowance. Don't fight those. Binding club, binding club. Yeah, and I think I'm going to have a lot of binding. So I need to really start pumping everybody up on it again. What's my trick here, you guys? I ask you guys this every time. What's my trick here? I have a really good one for this little spot, but I can't think of what it is right now. I always sit there and struggle with it for a second, and then I go, oh yeah. I typically don't clip this little edge here. It can start getting kind of thick. Like right now mine's getting a little bit thick. The reason I don't usually is if you need to make any adjustments, if you trim off your corners, same with up here, you've left yourself no way to let it out. And you might have to like even up your waistband or make it straight. So you need to make sure, absolutely sure. Why is this so thick right there? Can you guys see that? It's really thick. I think it's just because I opened up the seam allowance. That's it. So I'm going to trim off this seam allowance right here. This. And like this. Plus it's all interfaced. Bye, Aunt Nancy. Crosscut meaning it is going across the width of the fabric, not on the bias. A lot of quilters like to bind their quilts that way. They just don't really find the need to do bias. Why is this so thick right here? It's this right here. I don't like that. I can't believe Molly's asleep behind me. She's so quiet. This is going underneath, you know, this is my right front, so let's shove that in there with my awl. Okay, almost ready to stitch. You feeling like making robes? Hi, Stephanie. How's it going? I've sewn a few here of, I have to say, a lot of them now are not being printed anymore because of the names of them and respecting some of the cultures that they were named from. But if you have those already in your pattern library, I have the Suki robe by Helen's Closet, which is now called the dressing robe. I have the Haori, which is also now called the unfolding jacket. I also have the Osaka kimono, which I doubt has been renamed at all. 111 page. You know what gift I gave to myself last time, Terry, was when I did the Auburn, I had them print the instruction book too. I said, I just want the front cover in color and I want the rest of it double-sided. It cost me $4, but it was so nice not to print that out too, because my printers right now, it's not printing on the back. The kind with Ray's so nosy. No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, I like the Suki. But like I said, some are not available for purchase anymore. So it depends. I think Muna and Broad has a robe pattern. Boy, stop that. All right. Okay, moment of truth. My stomach's like, it better be. Here we go. Let me see. That looks okay there. A little off kilter. Oh, that thread's coming from my label? What the heck? Oh, well. All right. So I like to start at the center back waist, mainly because I don't really care about there. And then I will go around, and what I like to do is I go around the entire waistband, and that way I have no back stitches right here. It's also on a domestic machine, like a home machine, it sometimes is troublesome to back stitch right here near your center front. You have a lot of thicknesses. Look how thick mine is. That makes me a little nervous. So I don't like this little winging off angle, but I don't feel like taking it apart to fix it. All right, let's do this. So I put that fold of my waistband just past the stitch line of when I stitch the waistband to the pants. Keep this all nice and flat. There's a little bit of stretch happening in this curve, so you gotta be careful. Try and keep your waistband the same width. I say that because mine doesn't look like it. Kind of adjust. I have my pants inside out so that I can sew on the right side nice and flat without the jacket going underneath. Pants. I'm getting punchy. I'm getting punchy, folks. All right, there's the center back seam. I also don't really want any, oh, this isn't the center back, this is the side seam. I don't want any torquing to happen. Just one step at a time there. See how slow you can go with an industrial? That sounds weird right now, but I know I'm not running out of bobbin. Now that'll be nice. Having that many pieces on one page, that'll just be so nice. It's easier to make all your pattern alterations too. And then you know what I did was I just printed out my, like a few pieces, like 4 of the, I've printed out the front, back, side, front, side, back from my printer in my size only to use as a reference. And that's so much easier to manage to print that out and tape it together. All right, so here's this troublesome thickness here. I think it's because I opened up that seam, so maybe that's why I don't do that. And what is this right here? Huh. A little mysterious right now. You know, like it's definitely not looking quite right. I'm pushing with my awl the edge towards the machine to keep it from pushing towards me. Yeah, this looks funny. In my opinion, it looks kind of funny. All right. This does mean that my pants are now going to be under the head of the machine here. Makes it a little harder for you to see, so we'll do that. Oh yeah, that doesn't look so good, does it? You can also not do contrast thread. I think that that is such a good idea if you don't want every little mistake to show. This fabric is so soft that it's kind of gushy. Using these short stubby pins though is so nice. They're not poking me because usually I get kind of poked when I do this. Do you guys find also that the fusible woven interfacing makes your fabric a little gushy? It's kind of the one side effect. Sometimes I'm like, eh. It makes the stitches kind of sink down into the fabric more and not look as nice. All right, side seam. Yeah. It doesn't look that great. It doesn't look that great. But thanks, Ray. I appreciate it. This is how you dust the part of your machine over there that you never dust, is you put your white pants through there and just let your pants do it. I'm going to do this with the hand wheels to make sure I don't get it crooked. All right, last little bit. So when I do this, my hands are doing kind of a lot. I'm pulling my pants like this and then making sure that, because what that does also is make sure my waistband is flat on the inside and on the outside. And then if this seam kind of dips below too much, then I know I need to adjust this fold here and make it a little smaller so that I can kind of cover up that stitching. My stitching matches. So if it does show a little bit, it's really not going to be too obvious. Obviously, you don't want it to peek out, right? But if you're already feeling like you're jumping through a few circus hoops doing this and your hands are doing a lot, I mean, the industrial obviously makes it so nice because I don't have to use my hand to use my lift my presser foot. Straighten this little edge out here. The men and women who sew jeans for a living, like if they're not using a machine that automatically puts the waistband on, their fingertips must be so tired. All right. So we only have one back stitch and it's right there. Ooh, that looks good. Inside looks really good. A little bit funky there, but that's okay. It's on the inside. Look at that. I stayed on the waistband the whole way. That never happens. What? Okay. We just have the hems. Hi, Sandy. I'm using a twill that I got from Hearts Fabric. I bought the last of it. I didn't know I was buying the last of it, but yeah. It's just a light, I wouldn't say lightweight twill. It's definitely a bottom weight. It's very soft. A little too soft. They feel like pajamas right now. You're catching me right at the end here. Let's see how my waistband looks. It looks okay. The ink from my buttonholes makes it look like my buttonhole's a little too crooked. All right, I'm sick of my home sewing machine sitting here, but I just have one more buttonhole to do, you know? Ugh, it looks okay. All right. Look at this long thread. Oh, this is when I changed my bobbin. What the heck? Let's get rid of that. Let's look at the pockets. Yeah. Oh, man. Thanks, you guys. All right. Get these angry animals. And you can't see them through my pants since I did the white on top. Cover stitch, top stitching. What do you guys think about that? Do you think you would try that? I kind of liked it. It made me a little bit like, okay, am I really stretching the bounds of my cover stitch machine? But sure is fast, you know, and it is nice and even. The pockets, my back pockets look kind of out of place compared to it. All right, so let's just do these hems. I'm finishing. I don't need no stinking Walter pressure. Sheesh. I got a photo for Instagram I have to take. That's a pressure enough. Plus, I actually have to finish a project. Like, I can't let projects not finish because we're on to the next one so fast. All right, I'm just turning my pants inside out, so when I serge them, it'll be a lot easier to do it like this with the pant going up. All right, this is the front leg, so I'm going to press this seam allowance towards the back. And I'm going to start on the inseam, actually. And I'm going on to the front. I'm just telling myself that out loud so I remember which way to press my seam allowance. I really have the length kind of short, and so it feels like it's going slow. Okay, one more leg. Aw, you guys are so sweet. Thanks. I'm happy with them. I can't wait to try them on since I made all those pattern changes. All right, so this is the back. All right, that makes sense. So that means I have to push the seam allowance away from me. All right, so let's iron this up. I love how I'm looking at the stream to see where to put the camera, and I'm like, why isn't it moving? It's because I'm in the future. It's so dark over here, sorry. It's not in real life. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, you think so, Ray? You think yes to the cover top stitching? Yeah, these look pretty good. Look at that. Which way am I going? I'm going this way, yeah. Look how big these legs are, though. And I think I took out about 1 inch in circumference. Pretty sure it's what it was. I'm going to secure this tail. I did a nice wide hem. You know, I actually did a 2-inch hem with a 1/2 inch turn back, but I'm not going to turn them back. Since I did since I serged it, yeah, exactly. Oh, but I can use the cover stitch to sew these. What the heck, I totally forgot about that. See. Just kind of checking, make sure the width is the same all the way around. Sometimes you don't even need to measure. You just, like, folding it, you can kind of tell, you know? It'll line up. I wanted to secure this little tail. But if I'm going straight to my cover stitch, I'm not sure I'll be able to. Let's get rid of these then. Normally I would have like tucked this in and, you know, stitched it down. All right, do this one. So once I've done this hem, all I have left is 1 buttonhole at the waistband. And, because I don't think I could get 2 there. No, just 1. And then the buttons. That's it. Easy peasy. Okay. Little thread there. All right, so now I need to turn them back. inside out to do the cover stitch hem. Now we're kind of doing a traditional cover stitch hem, like we normally would do. I wonder if I could zoom in for you guys. Let's see. These honestly went together pretty quick when you think about it. Think about all the issues I had. That's as far as it goes. And yeah, right, Barbara? Yeah, I noticed that too. No bobbins, you know? It's no wonder. Then they don't have to deal with a bobbin. All right, so I'm gonna start on the inseam. That way, you know, any weird little hiccups are there. It's pretty wide for my little cover stitch. So let's see here. I'm going to think about, let's see. I think I would like, I'm gonna look at, what was that noise? Oh, I didn't see it. It must have been, oh, Sarah. Thank you. Thanks for becoming a patron. I'm gonna look at this as my lining up. Like I could even put a little piece of tape there. I'm gonna find a piece of tape here. Oh my gosh, you guys, Molly is so cute right now. Okay, like that. We'll just keep that edge lined up there and let's do it. I'm using 2 threads in each of these needles to make the top stitching really pronounced. It's an experiment. So I'm just staring right here. Am I on the camera all the way? Yeah, I am, okay. So much easier than knits. I'm approaching my inseam there, or outseam there, and I always get nervous coming up to the thicknesses because my old machine was a little bit persnickety about them. Nothing bad would happen. I just, it wouldn't be so parallel. Oh, look at that. I'm still not even quite on the edge. Okay, so I like to trim these when I approach. And then that way when I sew right on top of it, I don't have to fish them out, you know? All right. Thank you so much for becoming a patron, Sarah. There's free patterns in there. Oh no, don't do this. Let's just, what? I thought I did it right. I don't like when I didn't quite get it right, you know? I'm gonna just trim from underneath. There we go. Whew. There's some free patterns on there. If you look at the tag benefit on Patreon, they should pop up. I'm trying to see, do I have to rethread this? What's Sammy's least favorite thing to do on camera? Okay, not bad. I didn't have wax, but I have this hair pomade that I'm using to thread this in my needle. Who is it that sells the thread wax? Is it Carolyn Freelander? You know I love her. Because I have to get 2 threads through there. It's not the easiest. Ay caramba. This always happens when we're almost done, the moment of truth. And then I have to do something silly like thread a needle. It takes me 5 minutes. Boy. Hair pomade, yeah. It's the, it smells so good. It's called Shine So Bright. Split end treatment. That's what it is. It's not pomade. It's split end treatment. But look, see, it got a little grainy because it changed temperature too much in my old office. So I can't use it in my hair anymore. I used to use it just to like smooth out the little frizzles in my hair. It's harder and harder to find like men's pomade, and that's what I like to use. Oh, this was so easy before the cameras were on. Oh my God. Stop looking. Stop watching me. I'm getting too frustrated to do it, I think. All right, well. Oh my gosh. I never use the tweezers. You know it's bad if I'm using tweezers. This is not like wax. It's not doing anything that I would think wax would do. I'm about to put my lunch in the microwave. I got it. Do you ever get it in there, like you've threaded it, and then you jerk when you go to pull it? That just me? And then you have to start over again? I find that I don't like how I can't slot the threads in there either. That's another thing I'm not a big fan of. Where's my sample? Here we go. Can I get a yay? Okay, one more hem. So often, yeah, right? Oh my gosh. It's like, you know, I do that. I've shown you guys my annoying habit that I will, especially on my industrial, I wrap the thread around my finger just unconsciously as I'm going to put it into the needle, right? And so when I pull my finger out, because the thread's wrapped around my finger, I yank it out. It's so bad, you know? It's such a bad habit. I'm kind of pulling it like this so that I prevent the presser foot pushing the fabric toward me and getting, you know, the drag lines or torquing that I talk about all the time. What do I do to all of you? I can't see chat very much. And you love me for what? What do I do? All right, so here is my beginning. This time we're not going to unthread the machine. Forward, backward, up, out. There we go. All right. Let's go back to the other cameras. That hair pomade smells so good. It smells like jasmine, which I just love the smell of. Oh, I'm so glad that you're inspired to do your sewing goals and stuff. That's awesome, Sarah. All right, Kate. I'm telling you, it's my least favorite thing to do on camera. Reorganizing is definitely a creative part of sewing. I believe in it. I believe in it. Murphy's Law. Yep. Quiet yay. Yes, exactly. You don't want to do it too loud of a yay because I might jerk and unthread the needle again, right? So that's awesome, Terry. Well, you know what? You can. But sometimes it doesn't go that great, and that's just how it is, you know? So these, look at my cover stitch hems on woven. It doesn't look too bad. Obviously the serging was overkill. I did not even need to do that, but it did tame the edge, so maybe that was good that I did it. For some reason I was thinking serge and then top stitch on the machine, and then as I was ironing them I was like, oh yeah, cover stitch, that's what we're trying out today. So we did it. Oh, you know what I did today, you guys? I entered Michael's utility jacket. Oh, and so just so you know, Sail Right is having a contest right now. And you submit a photo, 3 photos of your project using one of their products. And I used their thread on his jacket, the one that's waterproof, or it helps make the seam more waterproof. And I think the prize is like $200 in product. So I entered it just for fun. I was like, I got the email the day I was taking pictures of his jacket, so I thought that was perfect. Yay, these look really cute. They look really cute. And then, you know, they'll have these buttons. Doo, doo, doo. Let's see the inside. Oh, let's see the back too. Here's the back. My cat looks like he's looking that way. I have to tell you, the Juki, as much as I love Phoenix here, she's not really meant to do really tiny stitches and detail. So, like doing one stitch for an ear, that ear got really long, you know? Let's look at the inside just because the fabric on the inside, this pocket fabric is really cute. I'm so glad I pulled it out and used it. Oh, and you guys really need to see how cute Molly is right now too. Look at her. Oh. Look at her. Oh, Molly. Yeah, she loves this chair. She loves this chair. Nope. Yep. That chair, there's 2 of them. They're from Maggie, Michael's grandmother's place. And every time she downsizes, we take out a few more pieces of her furniture. And so now Maggie only has 1 of them at her house, and I brought the other one here. She's a total, I call her a sweet potato, and I call Loki a little russet potato. These look good. They look really good. I'm so excited to try these on. I'm gonna eat my lunch, put the other buttonhole in or right here, and put the tack buttons on. If you need help doing hardware on your jeans, I've done this several times on some of the jeans videos where I don't take 1 day to sew them. So just check those out. If you see a hammer in the picture of on the thumbnail, that's most likely one that I'm putting the hardware in. I really should just do a dedicated video for it so that you don't have to like find where I did it in like one of the many. But there is a playlist on YouTube called Jeans or something similar. So yeah, anyway, yay, angry animals and my angry owl. Carrie, did you get my joke when you said, he looks more wise? And I was like, well, he is on my butt, so he's a wise, you know. This little, oh, that's fuzzy thread? Is that fuzzy thread? I'm not sure. Anyway, I also drew this in Procreate and printed it on vellum. It was so great. Is it hard to do the buttonhole in the waistband? No. I think the key, Kathleen, is that sometimes these seam allowances really get in the way of the buttonhole for me. So I could, right? No, I want to finish the cocoon pattern. I'm almost done with that. I've been live for like, aren't you sick of me? 4 hours? 4 hours. Come on, you guys. You're sick of me. So yeah, Kathleen, I think like, I don't know if you got to see me do these, but like I trimmed that seam allowance way down in there to make it a little easier because my machine is not going to go from a really thick seam allowance to just 2 layers and do a nice even buttonhole. So, you know, this, because the waist seam is right here, I'll have to do it like right up here. I actually like my buttonhole a little above the halfway point because I don't like it flaring up here. I like it to be kind of taut. So this side doesn't look that great though. Let's look at this side. No, they both look kind of wonky. All right, well, put those on. I'll try them on. I hope they fit. You didn't make the grumpy bum comment? Well, I was thinking more like wise ASS. I did it on, I saw yours on Facebook, but I thought I replied you on Instagram. Yay. Cool. Well, thanks for coming, you guys. Appreciate it. Oh my goodness, Ray. Such a jokester. If you're sewing the blazer or you just want to come along, Saturday I'm starting sewing on my blazer, and I'm starting off with the welt pockets, so that'll be fun. I think what I decided to do is, it was kind of hard. I actually worked on it on Saturday to try and figure out my welt pocket placement because I'm making the shorter blazer, and so that makes the welt pocket a little too shallow for the length of the jacket. So you get it, Carrie? So I'm going to raise the welt pocket up by 1 inch. You don't really want it too much higher than that. And then I'm going to make my pocket a little shallower. And I'm just going to figure out the length once I'm getting there. So I don't have to worry about it. Just so if anyone else wants to do that, it'll be an easy on the fly fix. So I'm excited. Welt pockets on Saturday. Woo woo. We might be just practicing them and then sewing them at the end, so that may be all we do. We're going to sew our fronts together and do our welt pockets, and that may be enough. I'm not making gloves. I'm not sewing gloves. I've knit gloves. I'm telling you, knit them. Why do you want gloves? And why do you want me to do it if I don't know how? Do you know how hard it is to turn those things inside out? Oh my goodness, I've done it before. That's why I don't want to do it again. I did it for a client. Ugh, and they were fur trimmed and everything. And they were production pattern, like they were for a company. Anyway. Guys in their gloves. Ray's just trying to palm the glove thing off on me. Ray's the one who said she would do it for you, pretty sure. All right, you guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. It's nice to see so many new faces. Thanks for chatting with us. You can follow me on YouTube. I'm usually live Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific. And then this month is just different because we're doing the blazer sew along every Saturday, but usually I cut something Wednesday. I sew part 1 on Thursday, so I would have only done half of this today, and I sew part 2 on Saturday. There's lots of ways to support me if you like what you see, and they are, I'm pretty sure, linked in the description, and you can go to my website. There's passive ways too, just like by watching ads and things like that. There's one-time donations, and then there's Patreon. I sell patterns too. I used to have a big company doing product company, so I made them into patterns. So anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for the donations, you guys, and the new patronage. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys Saturday. Have a great rest of your week and Friday. Thanks, mods, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.